What up?
Hey, hey, so how are you?
Good. You've been enjoying the madness the past few days?
Oh, jeez. Blockchain moment.
uh,
Blockchain ordinal. I don't know where to go anymore.
I don't think anyone else does. I think we're all just masquerading with confidence. You know, some people wear a mask better than others,
I guess so.
right? Yeah. Everyone's confident until you pay them to do the job, right? And then like, oh shit, you mean you actually wanted me to do that? Yeah. I mean, you said you could do it, right? Oh no, I mean, well, what I meant was, right? So it's okay.
Yeah, I'm running away. I initially wanted to be doing something with Casey on Dinner Classic, but yeah, there's not many credible like launch pads there, so I wouldn't want to go to that like trouble to.
You understand.
Yeah.
You understand. Uh-huh. I mean, I'm essentially a glorified recruiter. So, I found that I because I've been more disappointed than I've been happy with the people I've recruited. I've realized, I don't really know how to recruit all that well. But I can backfill for my lack of being able to predict the future by testing in small batches. Okay, you say you can do this. Let's start with one, not 1,000, not 1,000,000, just one. And if you can do that one, then we can talk about 10.
Yeah, there's too many 0 to 100s at the moment. It's a bit sad.
It's to be expected when there's so much money to be made, right? The more money there is, the more people are incentivized to lie. And that doesn't make them bad people. That just makes them humans, right? You can't blame anyone for wanting to feed their family. I just have to take that into account when trying to figure out if they can actually do something. And at the end of the day, performance is only there's only one scoreboard. Cautiously optimistic. Pray to Allah, but tie up your camels.
I get you. Has anyone like been helping recently? Like people like where are you like looking like to bring these recruits together?
So we've known each other for the past maybe 18 months, some of us in the syndicate. And we've also been able to do small projects with each other. So, based on the success of those small projects and our ability to work together, now that Ordinals came along or this, that, and the other comes along, we're like, hey, remember how we did that thing last time? You want to collaborate again? And some people say yes, some people say no. And some people say no, and then it turns into a yes. So, cautiously optimistic, moving forward one foot at a time, crossing the river while feeling the stones. Because I know at any time Bitcoin Core could change the could do a soft fork. Okay, so now we live in a different BTC world, right? And the solution I give to you today is not going to be the solution I give you next week. I just, you know, like because I want to be able to sleep well at night, I'd rather under promise by a large margin than over promise. Because if you over promise and fail, then you may never be able to do another project in that industry because you're blacklisted. So I'd rather make less money early and figure out what the known unknowns are before we start promising the world to folks.
Oh yeah, the fixation on like financial gains is like apparent. It's not like hidden at all. It just like baffles me when people get super angry. Like here you are on the internet in a space. I don't see like the need. If it's just voices in your head, right? But obviously, like you might be referring to people like that you've worked with before and found success. But even if there is failure, like why should you? Why should that deter you? And these people just keep on going. I've been listening in quite a bit. So like I've seen like the women that come in and just try to like express how they feel and make statements like Ethereum is not scalable, and you know. I do get the humor behind it. It's fun though. I enjoy your spaces quite a bit.
Well, that makes one of us. No, I'm just joking. It's good times. It's good times. Sometimes goes off the rails, but um, I think that's all a part of it. People are emotional people, and sometimes we bring out the worst in each other as much as we do the best. And it largely doesn't matter if someone's right or someone's wrong because I've seen wrong people execute well and right people execute poorly.
Have you got like something planned? Did you have any like content planned, or do you just do like a regular um, like communications then?
Well, we have a lot of irons in the fire, different people in the syndicate, right? Some people are working on ordinals, some people are working on AI for cybersecurity. Um, Me, I'm a recruiter, so I'm always looking to fill positions. Even right now, I'm looking to hire a project manager and a developer for a company in Canada. And so I've been keeping track of all of the points that I've learned in Substack. So if you look up the digital mercenary Substack, you'll see a bunch of stuff from Rust to amygdala driven sales.
Oof. Um, uh, is it like are you looking like Web3 development, or uh, can you be
Not
specific?
necessarily. Not necessarily. Um, I have an organization called Unicorn Launching that endeavors to launch unicorns worth launching. Web3 is, I think Web3 is just a name. I don't think it necessarily describes any one thing. And I think if you ask different people what it is, they'd all say a different answer. So whether it's Web 1, Web 5, Web 6, I don't know, do you have Ethereum, BTC, or Fiat? Which one are we talking about today? And what is the input, process, output that we're going to go through? Knowing that anything you describe is simple on paper, but not easy in practice.
I'm trying to think how this works in my favor. How far is Winnipeg, like from where you're set up?
Oh, you're in Winnipeg? I'm in Toronto.
I'm not from Winnipeg.
Hmm.
I like to keep my thing low key. I am, since there's not a lot of people here. I'm based in South Africa, but
Oh.
there's someone that I do have accommodation in Winnipeg, and I
Oh.
was looking at potentially migrating, even though the temperature might not be like.
You ain't lying. I mean, Vancouver is known to have a moderately temperate climate compared to the rest of Canada. when I talked to the employer, they said they don't necessarily care where in Canada the person is, but they would like them in Canada. So, long story short, the syndicate represents a combination of people, and those people represent capital, money, people, which is talent, process, which is your doctrines, and technology. And depending on what people want to do, we kind of put together a mixture of complementary talents to get anything done. So there might be a founder, there might be a technologist, there might be a salesperson. And with those three things, you can do a lot if there's trust.
Yeah. Uh, I think that's what crypto is, right? It's just like consensus, and then uh, um, I'm sorry that I'm really like shy when I
Yeah,
speak to you.
no, please.
Um, so there are like a few things that I'm trying to work out like for USTC. I'm doing like a small time collab. I don't know if you know like those people in the Terra communities. Um, but the one dude has presented like a promising case. Um, he's trying to repeg the stablecoin USTC.
Mm-hmm.
Um, So we've just been exchanging possibilities of what would uh, work the best. So to make it sound like um, less nerdish, I don't know like you're like in depth.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So we're trying to like um, delta a gamma liquidity pool basically. And it's not always like we seem to have got a bit of an issue where he like we give each other back and forth. He's a magpie. We
Mm-hmm.
really we get along. I want to see how that's going, but I'm definitely going to be trying to be on your radar if things like work out. But I don't know like how urgent what you require, and like if there's any specifications, maybe we can hop on that if that is a possibility. um
Yeah. Um, so I want to understand this. Your project's outcome is to repeg a currency.
Bring stability using things like triple bottom line theory.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
What would a win look like? Say you got what you wanted. What would that mean? What does that look like?
A win would mean that a lot of people that um, you know they can get closure. I think a lot of people deserve closure to
Mm.
what they have to go through.
So,
If that
okay.
happens, I
So
think
when you
that
say a lot of people, what target market would you say? How would you describe this class of people? Are they previous Luna or Lunk or Terra investors, or something else?
based on like the entire FTX debacle,
Uh-huh.
I think that a lot of people who lost can get something back. It might not be as much, but it's something.
Um, how do you feel about saying people saying you're throwing good money after bad? What do you say to them?
Apologies. Can you repeat that?
Sure. So I imagine some people will look at this like throwing good money after bad. Does that make sense?
Um,
Right?
throwing,
Like
yeah.
the right. So let's say like the amount of value available has decreased a lot. And what you're trying to do is salvage, at least what it sounds like it, you're trying to salvage the money lost and preserve that for the people who believed, right? I guess the question is, how much money would you think you would need to attract in order to create a project that would salvage this? Because this used to be $1 trillion market if you're looking at Luna Terra, right?
Um, I don't like to go in with like a mindset that something is guaranteed to work. There can always be other external detergents that can
Totally.
affect. But if you try and you fail, that doesn't mean like that there isn't an alternate route to get there. Um, I feel like if there are more people that are able to communicate more effectively, they can achieve like what they set out to do. But in terms of like target of requirements, that's more or less based on like the adoption of transparency, because there seems to be like a lack of that everywhere, whether like transactions behave, they move swiftly or not. um,
Have you
I
ever thought about just cutting your losses, though? You know what I mean? Does that ever cross your mind? Like, do you ever ask
um,
yourself, you know what, if I put this energy into something that I had complete control over, right? I'm just wondering. Because obviously you're a very skilled and intelligent person, right? You saw a lot of people get fucked, and I understand the interest, right?
I
Mhm.
do understand like what you're insinuating. You're saying like maybe a possible like monopolistic like opportunity. Maybe like in a sense that sometimes in good hands, but then again like that breaches like um, consensus in like the space, right? I think people need to assert themselves in a more um, you see, they don't respect like the fundamentals of certain projects, and it's always pushing the narrative of who has or who holds the most liquidity, and they are going to, um, you know, redeem uh, or save you rather. But that doesn't always work out the way people express it and market it. It's a bit
Mhm.
embarrassing to talk about. I don't like to talk
No,
about monopolies, even
it's,
though they are like,
keep
yeah.
in mind that the deception you see in crypto is not unique to crypto. The deception you see in crypto is unique to human beings. And there's not an industry on the planet for which this deception does not take place on a daily basis. There's too much money in deception. I wish that wasn't the case, but I worked in finance 15 years ago, which is why I left. When I found out the lies for what it was, I was like, okay, I'm out. I'm not saying that everyone should follow that path, but when I realized how much was outside of my control, I didn't want to work in an environment where that many things were outside of my control. Most of finance is trying to convince people that they can beat the market. And all of the evidence that we have is that no, you can't. And anyone who tries to beat the market ends up losing all of their money. And that's the lesson of history. It's not a sexy thing to promote because there's so much money to be made and people losing all of their money. There's actually a huge market to be made in people losing their money and thinking that they can get an edge because they look at XY axes all day. But over a time span of 15 years, Only 4 hedge funds out of 100 beat the S&P 500, which means that essentially their offering is that with your money and my ideas, we can't lose. This goes back to Jack Bogle's thesis from Princeton in the 50s. And he grew Vanguard into a, what, $7 trillion company? Yeah. The need to speculate during gold rushes will never go away. We can't blame humans for that. Humans go to the casino every day. What's the difference? What's the difference between a casino and crypto? I don't see much. Different language. We'd like to think that if we spent enough time with numbers that we would be able to predict the future of markets, and it turns out that's not the case. Mostly because markets are manipulated.
I think you're.
Go ahead, Walt.
I said I think you're describing. Everybody catches a fever, right? And you get caught up, and we all have all the greatest intentions, don't we?
You've heard of COVID, but have you heard of crypto?
Yeah, I think crypto's going to wipe out a lot more people than COVID did.
Wow. How dare you, Walt? Easy, Fauci. Oh my God. How do we get
Is-
inoculated?
no, there's no vaccine for this
Is there an
fever.
mRNA wallet?
Yeah, yeah, we don't want that either. But I'm
What?
sure that the WDF people have
Yeah.
different
Oh, they already have one.
recommendations. I'm sure they're there for you.
Look, you want to keep your crypto safe. The number one attack on crypto is COVID. And therefore, if you can use mRNA in your wallet, you'll be just as safe as I am.
Yeah, I think we're not gonna get rid of the COVID word in our vocabulary for quite some time. This gentleman is very passionate, and I really enjoyed listening to him. But you are a very articulate individual, and actually very diplomatic and polite. That was very nice. The way you handled this whole situation was very nice.
Ooh, if you're pushing the nice narrative on me, it's just when I'm around new people, I think it's in my best of interest to be really uh, endearing, I guess.
Well, the advice that is out there. This is a wonderful space. This is the first time I hear your voice, but I enjoy the people here because they're very, uh, you're amongst very peaceful and very friendly people in this space. That's why I enjoy breaking in once in a while, like I'm doing now.
Can you see any future whereby you say enough is enough and you move away from Lunk or Luna? I know that sounds like a really harsh thing to ask, but is there anything that would change your mind and maybe motivate you to focus on your own projects? Or are you in it to win it? I'm going to see this happen no matter what, hell or high water.
um, I mean, there are a lot of more experience. I'd say like I know a fraction of what some people know, because they've obviously spent more time in the space. Um, most of most of my information is just communicated with other people, and to see like put your feelers out and see what the market is
Hmm.
doing really. um and most of the times like I too try to like exchange with like L1s, L2s, and all of these different people, right? But in the broader sense, yes, ultimately you do want to use these tools to be able to put out a product that you are passionate about. And if you hit a wall, like I do try and get around it. I don't give up immediately, but obviously if there's incentive elsewhere, I'd have to stop, because like a lot of the stuff that I've seen, that's I mean, like when there's manipulation of like VP and um, MEV arbitrage happening like on the network, it's not.
Oh, minor extracted value, right?
Yeah. uh, um, and like people just like evade the subject when it's brought up, and a lot of people are becoming more aware. um, like they have a big issue where several, I don't know if maybe like one of the builders in Cosmos, Gadikian, uh, he came in and he was like, there's a security factor that you're not like considering. Like there's a white label service provider on the chain, and you guys are like allowing them to control voting power, which is not necessarily the best. But
Hmm.
the bigger risk factor was that like they hold their clients, they hold their seed traces basically, which is also like every time I try to like think about doing something, I have to like you know I get like emotionally disconnected when I have to get feedback like that all the time. So it's disheartening at times. But like I said, like if you just stick to like the people that you've been with, and expand and broaden like your networks with the right people, it makes it easier for you to formulate your own narrative at the end of the day, something that most people don't really share and talk about.
Yeah, the reason I ask is because, for you to be successful, you have to create a coalition of the willing that extends beyond yourself, right? And how many people do you have to convince? 5, 10, 15, 20? Every person you have to convince takes the control out of your hands. And at a certain point, you're making promises on not on behalf of technology, but on behalf of people. And people sometimes do what they are going to say, and sometimes they don't, right? So I just think about the your ability to make a promise is contingent upon a bunch of other people agreeing. People that change their mind all the time, and that can be a good thing. It can be a bad thing, right? And by the way, the same thing you're talking about here happened with BTC in 2017. That's why there's Bitcoin Cash and SegWit, and they turned down SegWit 2x, and now they have BSV, right? So everything that you're facing here has been encountered by other chains, whether it's Poly, whether it's Matic, whether it's Polygon hacks, what have you. So if it's reassuring, everything you're facing here is largely what other people have faced. I just ask myself, how do I minimize my exposure to risk? And my exposure to risk is tied not with technology, but with the people using it. And the more people I don't have control over, the more risk that I have. And I'm not all that confident in large groups of people necessarily doing the things that are in my best interest. It's too much risk to not have within my control. To have to wait for people to do what they say they were going to do. That's tough.
If you don't mind asking, just like to get like more onto the same page. What I hope it's not like imposing in
No,
any
but
way. Um, what is like your resolve? Like, what is your best of interest?
at the end of the day, it's to make money. I'm not going to deny that, right? So the first thing I decide, is this worth my time? Is this worth the opportunity cost of me not investing in other projects, my time and energy? So I guess that's the first one. And I imagine that's the main one. If that's not satisfied, then. Right? Not to say that I'm not involved in charities. I am, right? Charity is actually in Ghana. But if somebody asks me how do I decide if I'm going to be involved in something? I'd have to say it's money at this point. Money or value. Money, value, equity, profit sharing, whatever those things are.
Oh man, I wanted Casey to come. I wanted to pick his brains for a bit. Yeah. No, I'm paying attention. So you, like with what I'm trying to achieve is a mechanism that allows me to I know it's a big goal. I'm chasing like carbon offsets. I'm trying to simultaneously, how can I say, if you look at like the overall oxygen RSI in the world, it's on a decline, similar to what Bitcoin does, but right now. um, but like my whole like overall like expansion is to restore like the RSI into the opposite direction, if you can relate. Based on the fact where I'm located is good conditions to extend into external networks that can adopt this as a primary network, and then um, move into things like cloning, what I need to do clone, if you get that. And that way, it can work, um, because I see that as it being like regenerative, meaning that you don't always need to capitalize on injections. Um, because like once it's there, your job as a company is to continue that cycle by managing your funds professionally. I don't know a better word to describe that, um, but I feel like most of this industry's shortcomings sits with poor fund management, and that's what where people generally like come short. They inject funds, and then they inject funds, and then it keeps on going down and down and down because they don't manage it. y- you
Yeah,
know,
but
to,
what magical industry are they managing their money well? That's why they created the Federal Reserve, because banks go bankrupt. So not even banks are managing their money well. If you look at the derivative exposure of a Credit Suisse or any of these large, you know what I mean? So while yes, it could be a criticism that they're not managing their money well, I'd ask you, show me this magical industry where people are managing their money well.
well, wouldn't it be the successful ones?
Not
Um,
necessarily, right? Haven't you seen people go from $20 billion to negative overnight, right? Look at Michael Huang. Look at Kathy, whatever her name is. Look at, right? These people went from on top of the world to broke. So people thought they were managing their money well until they were bankrupt.
Would then not like be incentivized by things like greed? Uh, Again, like you said, it's just a problem with people in general.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But as a recruiter, I've worked in a lot of industries. You know, when you work in a lot of industries, you would think that you would see a lot of, oh, people in finance are like this, and people in accounting are like this, but people in sales are like this. No, no, no. It's all the same thing. It's all the same thing. People want to make a lot of money. Employers lie, candidates lie, and they both lie together. And employers lie because they want to pay less, and candidates lie because they want to get paid more. And who am I to blame either side for wanting to make and save money?
Everyone's got to eat, man. Like I totally get that. Um, but when there's only the head of the table eating, that kind of does. Uh, uh, yeah, that's what I see
We're
is
not going to
happening.
solve human nature with a new database built on money. Right? You know, human characteristics are human characteristics, and those have existed, what, tens of thousands of years? We just have new tools to express our proteins and our inner chemistry. You ever see Patterns of Conflict by John Boyd?
What, can
You'd
you?
love it. Yeah,
Is it a documentary or like
it's
a?
it's a book. It was written by a U.S. fighter pilot, and he said that when faced with a more powerful enemy, your only solution is confusion. I put it to the top. You can look it up. It's a PDF, and he goes through battles going back to like Greek antiquity, looking at how battles were won and lost between stronger and weaker opponents. And he found that the weaker opponent can use confusion to make up for their lack of strength and power. So there's actually a tried and tested way to defeat large opponents, and it's confusion. And one might argue that, this is why they call it the retail guillotine, right? Because IPOs are meant for the initial investors to dump their stock onto the unsuspecting public. And I'm not saying that's a good or a bad thing. It's what is. Yeah, if you think people are nefarious in Web 3, you should see Web 2. You think Robinhood is the only one front running transactions, right? You know, Web 3 learned how to do this from JP Morgan, right? In fact, a lot of people would argue that they came from JP Morgan to do this, like Stuart Popejoy with Cadena. I think reality is a lot darker than anyone's willing to admit. As long as there are bunnies, there are going to be magicians who make the bunny rabbit disappear. And people will clap their hands.
is everyone normally this quiet? I'm feeling a bit awkward.
We're just enjoying the conversation.
Hey, Paul, have you found an industry where people aren't greedy and willing to fuck each other over for massive amounts of money?
Yeah, they're in the cemetery. It's the only place. See it in a lot of different places. You have good and bad. So it's like you said, human nature, and you try to pull yourself around with good character and you know, and just honesty. And that's a
It can be
commodity that's hard sometimes.
can also be a very thankless offering.
Yes. The industry that I work in, being project management in the engineering field, you have a rigidity that brings in, kind of forced um standards and protocols, which brings truth to what they do, but they still supplement, it's subjugated by those who provide the goods and the services. Like you look at Turkey, they were looking at a lot of the new buildings that collapsed, and the material, the concrete was very much substandard. The examples I saw were, I'd say maybe 1,000 psi where it should have been 4, and then also the design of the building pretty much was made to where it would pancake. And, it's just, I feel for the architects and the people who did it, because the likelihood the builders and the architects, siphoned, money, or, did something backdoor to not put the best product available, and that's sad because a lot of people cost their lives.
And they would say, look, if you can build a house at this price, you do it, right?
Yep.
And so they would have the justification for saying, well, if you only knew how the realtors deal with this and the blah 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 dealt with that, right? Now we have a situation where people are pointing fingers at each other,
Yeah. Yep.
right?
Oh
So,
yeah.
and by the way, if we had an earthquake in Canada, I'm sure the same thing would happen. You know what I mean? Like we're not using wood, we're using like composites. And people say that if you have a fire in your house, that you'll die more from the smoke than you will the fire because of the flammable nature of the materials used.
Yes, and that's
So,
one of the thing in industry, in the food industry, we were restricted on the construction materials, and we could not use anything that was chromium based, or any wall materials that could produce like any styrofoams, or any filler material that was could produce any offsetting chemicals. We had to be very specific about, using mineral wool is about the best, but at the same time, that doesn't necessarily give you the best efficiencies. But, you had your standards to work within, so you minimize, the whatever the potential, if there was a failure or fire or something along that lines. So,
and you can imagine a world where people who wanted to sell chocolate for cheap cut those corners.
oh yeah,
Mhm.
and that's where you're seeing a lot of the industrial accidents that you're seeing today. There's two factors, and primary factors are human error, and also the attitude of the corporation towards particular safety items. Usually those are the top two that bring about a catastrophic event. So, we're experiencing keyboards are not equal. My wife is setting up her new Mini, and her keyboard will not pair, but mine did. So, isn't that exciting? So, Walt, what are you doing? You running around in the snow, or did y'all get a lot of snow?
No, we got some soap.
You need a shovel for that snow?
He has a guy who takes care of the snow.
I am the guy.
Listen.
That's, here I am. Before I couldn't shut. Now it shuts off on its own. So she was kind of stuck, and there was a lot of traffic going by, so I blocked the traffic and I with her sign stuff. Yeah.
Sounds like
So I
fun.
turn on the mic, 5 seconds, it just turned itself off. Every 5 seconds, it turned itself off. There it is. It'll turn itself off.
Are you going through the car system on your truck?
Yeah, but the Bluetooth usually is pretty good. It's just once in it happened
I
to
just
me.
go ahead.
It happened to me without. Anyways, I'm gonna bounce and I'll try to get back.
Okay.
Bye.
Reconnect. Turn your
Bye.
Bluetooth, turn it off, disconnect, and reconnect.
Multiple times a day while I'm running the space, I'll have to turn off my Wi-Fi and turn it back on. I don't even notice myself doing it now. It just happens.
So that's the reason why I get noticed that you're having trouble with the
Mhm,
disconnection, and then all of a sudden you come back. It's
mhm.
not long enough to interrupt the signal and stuff. Yeah.
I have 60 seconds when I start hearing interruptions to close the room and restart it.
Yeah. The only thing I find usually in this application is the microphone turning it off is touching it and it doesn't turn off. And then you have to,
Mm.
it's like the sensitivity around it or something. I have to close the app, open it back up, and then touch it. And then it will, it's kind of like, I'm not in the loop anymore, guy. Tough luck.
Okay, so seamless AI. I need to find these project managers and developers. Seamless.ai promises you 100 contacts for free.
Do you want to go into like a description of what kind of an environment would be required for a project manager in your specific industry that might help align?
Sorry, can you say that one more time?
Yeah, just like a brief description of what your manager would um, what kind of an environment, what tools would they need, and
Sure.
so forth in like layman's terms, I guess.
Yeah, the client that's hiring right now, they build advanced Shopify e-commerce solutions for their clients. So if you're familiar with the Shopify environment, anything Shopify is basically the requirement. Hey, Casey. Ferry wanted to talk to you. He's interested in saving Luna, and I told him maybe he better Bet on himself.
Hello, hello, hello. How's the day going?
It's very red today, Casey. My day's been red.
Did you say your day's been good?
I only want one.
I want two.
There you go, Mags.
Can I have one?
Yes, since
One.
you want them.
I want one,
This is the front one.
I want
but
two.
it's the blue one. I want the blue one.
This is the front one.
You can have them both, honey.
Can I get it first? Just giving out ordinals over there. What the
I
hell?
Yeah.
want to lick it. Just lick it. That's all I want.
Oh, I want to lick it and then like smear it on the ground because that's fun. Oh man. So Fairy King, you're on the hunt as usual, buddy. I understand. I do. I understand. Any actual advancements?
Yes. I've been swinging with USTC at the moment. When it comes to Linux, I don't think we're gonna want to deploy on any launchpad that exists on that specific chain. I think it's a horrendous space to work for you. Need to be scouting elsewhere.
Sure. I can appreciate that. We're getting ready to launch an inscription service for non-fungible satoshis, and my hope is that we can mimic what the on-chain monkeys have done and use wrapped Bitcoin so that you can use your MetaMask and do airdrops. That way you get, a pretty much interoperable system at that point.
Well, what chain did you say?
Bitcoin.
How does that work? Where would you be accepting? What pool would you accept through?
I'll send you a website link. So what we're doing though is we're doing a 3 to 4 style inscription of the satoshis. So we've got IPFS off-chain inscription, we've got compression inscription, and then Satoshi chaining inscription. And we'll be working towards the wrapped Bitcoin inscription as well. So right now, if you look at like the ordinals or Capture Coin, I think it's called, which is like the original marketplace. Um, the marketplaces are kind of a mess right now. It's a lot of peer to peer transactions. So hopefully we can provide a solution to that and take the lion's share of the market. And here's the man, the myth, the legend. NFTs are worthless. Good afternoon.
It's kind of like gold dust.
That's an interesting analogy.
His response would be like, "Hi."
Yo, can you guys hear me?
Now we
What
Mm-hmm.
can.
the heck? Okay. I didn't hear anything you guys said.
We were comparing you to the rest of gold dust. Dusty Rhodes' son. Dusty Rhodes is a lot like Paul, right? Can you imagine Paul as a wrestler doing a promo? I would pay
Oh,
for that.
dude. I would travel and pay. I would enter into a subscription service for that.
Yeah, just being too nice.
Oh, y'all being too nice. I'm just going to hit this fellow over here with the head of the chair. I'm going to get that 3 count.
Oh no, I'm gonna do a leg sweep, make him go bang, and then I'm gonna do a belly flop on his head.
Are you ready for the
Can you
figure
say
four?
clothesline? Clothesline.
I came off the rope and gave that fella a big old clothesline.
Hit him with that stone cold stunner. Went to sleep after that. He woke up in the ECW.
Boy, his feet came off the floor like a couple of magpies. It was crazy.
But what I liked the most was that headbutt and that puzzled look on his face as he fell backwards.
It ain't no fun if you don't look in their eyes while they lose consciousness.
Hey,
Look, Casey cares. Fairy King is trying to have a serious conversation about Luna and Terra. And you here talking about what? Cutting promo for a defunct wrestling organization? Can't we focus on the important things like how to pick up after Do Kwan's mess?
Dude, Fairy King has smashed through so much lunk insanity that whatever he wants to talk about, I give him kind of carte blanche. You know, like if you've never hung out in the lunk spaces and listened to the crazy town that they generate in there, you can't appreciate the perspective.
I follow Carrie. I follow Dr. Carrie because she's the queen of the lunk tower, from what I understand, right?
What?
Isn't that right, Fairy?
What? No.
What? I thought she was part of the lunk community. Wasn't she?
No.
Are you sure?
I mean, she's talked about it, but no, she wasn't. No.
I thought she was co-hosting those spaces. No? No, I'm being serious.
Yeah, no, they've pulled her up as ghost a couple
Yeah, correct. So I just
No,
assumed that she was one of the leaders.
listen, it was the Voyager link with Sephi. That's why. It was Sephi and Obi
Oh.
and, you know,
How are they doing, by the way? Are they in on ordinals now? What's going on? Where are they
no,
at?
they don't. And I quote, if you want to doodle on dollar bills and try to trade them, have fun. That's yeah, no, they're not feeling that one.
It's a good criticism, doodling on dollar bills.
I think it's an interesting analogy. It is. Like it's appropriate, but I think the conversation turns when you have a dollar bill that sells for $1,000 bills. You know, like that's you know, if the liquidity's there, proof of stake, right?
Yeah, Ferry asked me, you know, what my end goal is with all these projects, and I told him money.
Nice, good answer. Good answer.
You know, did not else
No,
answer
just
it because what you know,
oh,
because if it didn't
don't
involve
dance
money, I
around.
wouldn't be
Yeah,
interested.
don't dance around. Cut through all the bullshit, and yeah, that's good.
Because if it doesn't involve money, we can like you know talk about fucking whatever we want. But I imagine if the money dries up, everyone else dries up too. That's what I
Like
found.
I saw a woman in India utilizing private blockchain to clean up their local medical records, and that's one of the
Mm-hmm.
first times I've seen somebody use blockchain for a non-investment style application, and it worked great. Like it's possible, it just doesn't happen very often.
There's too much money to be made in doing simpler things. You know, humans act on the principle of conservation of energy. How do I expend less energy to get more? Me included. I'm a recruiter. My job is to try to not do fuck all.
You know, I'm not going to let you follow that on this project. You realize that, right, buddy?
I, I say that out loud so that I can say that I've said it out loud. Not that, you know what I mean?
Fair,
Right?
but totally fair, brother. That's awesome.
If I can turn all human interaction into a Google form, I'm going to do it.
And that's why you're good at everything?
That's why he's good at community flow management, you know, because he doesn't,
That's a better.
right? I know I got the PC verbiage, but he's, but it's not, it's an entertainment source to him to a point, and so it's not necessarily a grab so much as it is watching a cat play with a mouse.
It kind of is like that.
Yeah, yeah,
I'm just playing with my food. Yeah.
totally. Hey, I have an interesting development.
You got me.
So, I'm like ETA 10 days from termination, right? So the CEO, his name is Chase Gundach, and out of all people in the whole fucking world, when I went slot car racing the other night, his daughter, his
No.
daughter was there, and I didn't realize who she was. And
Amazing.
today I wrote her pre-approval. Yeah,
No.
dude.
That's so funny. You're saying you're playing the person and not the cards?
Apparently, like I didn't mean to.
Uh-huh.
That's how it turned out. So I made sure to roll out the red carpet for her, got her to the point where she's like, "Oh my God, you're amazing. I can't believe this." So it took,
You get a reference letter from her?
well, I made soft mention that if my chain of command knew that I was doing a good job, it could be helpful to me, and she promised to make sure that they would know. So go ahead, Chase, fire me. Your daughter's going to be upset. Good times.
I love it. I love it. Relationships, man. It's scary how personal business is sometimes.
Dude, business, the law, life in general, it's wild. All right, so Fairy King, when are we gonna launch the fairy art on Bitcoin, and then wrap that shit and put it in your Lunk wallet?
Well, why do you need to move from Bitcoin to Lunk?
Because it's got the hype. Duh, it's where the money's going.
So you want a bridge or of some sorts?
Yeah, so you need liquidity into the Lunk protocol. So we'll use the Bitcoin NFTs to siphon the liquidity from Bitcoin to Lunk. Let's plug in Lunk to the Bitcoin liquidity pool.
How's that going to work exactly?
Wrapped.
So you wanna swap, create like an arbitrage between like wrapped
Nope,
Lunk
it's not an
and
arbitrage. It's a wrapping. So you wrap Bitcoin with Lunk. The Satoshis are inscribed. That way you get your content for your NFT. But because it's wrapped with Lunk, there's your liquidity bridge, and you just sell your NFTs to create the liquidity drive, and bingo, bingo, there's your liquidity bridge.
cool. I'm just gonna have to like review that. But Duncan, if you wanna do that with him too, I guess we can talk.
All right, yeah. Again, I'll send you the landing page link, and if you like the concept, fill out the links, and we'll get back to you as soon as we got pricing.
Okay. I'm gonna make a few calls quick.
Yeah.
I'll definitely message you soon. I'll see you guys. Thank you for doing this. It's awesome.
No problem, buddy. Have a good one. We'll talk to you later.
Just, why you want to dash the guy's dreams like that?
I'm trying to give him a safety boat, man. Look, we have a product, and the point of sales is you ask the consumer what they need first, then you take your product and see how it solves their problem. They got a problem, we got a solution. That's an easy pitch.
I felt sorry for the guy because he's like, my project is to repeg a stablecoin. Well, I don't have trillions of dollars. You want to repeg a stablecoin? What if you had that money? Would you create your own
And
stablecoin?
so because I've listened to their group conversations, and I got the history with the Lunk crowd, I understand
He
why.
doesn't seem like an evil person.
No,
I'm just
yeah,
saying,
no. He's
repegging.
what's the
You could
right
be
word?
JP fucking Morgan Chase
Impractical.
and not be able to.
Impractical. That's the word, right?
Yeah.
It's an impractical goal, but you've got a lot of people that are trying to attain the impractical. So I don't know.
But getting other people to invest such much money to keep an asset at peg.
Yeah, well, so
There's no budget for that.
their actual formula is trying to burn off the trillions of Lunk that were created trying to save the stable coin, to bring Lunk up to a price point that they can then effectively recraft the stable coin, not necessarily save it, but use the Lunk liquidity to recraft the stable coin and then recreate the Luna protocol all over again, which sounds like just a repetitive nightmare. But in tackling the impracticality of what they're saying, he's not saying it very well.
I've never heard of nuking a dead horse.
Yeah.
I've heard of beating one.
Well, see, first you got to bring in the necromancer to resurrect the horse and then kill it again, and then just keep repeating the process.
Seems like a good person who wants to do good things for good people. I just don't think that even if you had all of the funds in the planet, that you could have everyone agree on the way forward.
Oh yeah, totally. Yeah, for sure. It's weird to cross paths with people who have impractical ideas but good hearts.
That's the darkest thing you've ever said.
Oh. Shit.
Jesus, you hearing this, Ruckus? This is why Ruckus invests in Disney. Because all the good-hearted projects can't make money. I get it, Ruckus. I understand that.
Happy Friday, everyone.
Wow, what a response.
Fuck that. Why did that hurt too? That hurt.
dark,
Yeah.
dude.
Right.
Yeah.
Jesus.
I woke up happy today too, but so the guy I was training, I don't know if I told you guys, but he got let go or he's leaving, right? So win, right? That's a win. But now they want me to inherit his responsibilities. And
Fuck you, pay me.
I will tell you. So you're the exception to sales. Yeah, you're one of the nicer ones. But these MFers are so lazy. Oh my gosh, they're lazy. I swear. I don't understand. What do they do?
What do you mean?
They don't want to do anything.
They're being. If you were getting paid to do very little, wouldn't you want to keep that going?
Absolutely.
So it's not them. It's human nature.
I just sent a note off to the director, and I was like, "Hey, are you going to make your guys do this?" I probably shouldn't have sent that out, but
Next time, I'm gonna have to be your mouthpiece.
next time what?
Next time, I'll be your mouthpiece. Just send the emails to
Oh
me.
my gosh, I'm so pissed. I hate
Email GPT.
fucking lazy
No,
people. Sorry.
no, I'm happy. I'm happy to take on an expanded role. What's wrong with an expanded role?
It's annoying. It's you don't compensate me. You can't do that to people in this environment. Are you I mean, you just can't. It's unacceptable, especially in this environment.
Well, is there room for a discussion on expanding my compensation to factor in my increased scope?
Well said.
Yeah, I mean, you can say that, yeah, but
I want it on record.
it's so annoying. Good grief. You'd think companies would learn, but
People don't learn. People want, and this is true of the universe. The universe seeks rest. Water flows downhill. You know, imagine yelling at water for not flowing uphill. What you doing, water? And water's like, bloop, 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 bloop. Water's just doing its thing, eh?
Water's just doing its thing. Yeah. Anyway,
Of course they would want to give it to you. That way they don't have to hire more people. Isn't that a natural reaction?
yeah,
What could
but
be more natural?
I don't know. Maybe I'm just too sensitive when it comes to that kind of stuff. So.
Look, when you're a manager, one day you will be forcing people to do what they don't want, right?
I manage systems. This is exactly why I don't like managing people. It's annoying. People are annoying.
Imagine what it's like to be a recruiter when you have two people lying to you the whole time.
Okay, fair.
Recruiting is the only job in sales where the product can change its mind.
Fair.
I'm just saying, if they're asking you to engage in a different scope, you know, have you ever seen the iron triangle of project management?
No.
Oh, you should look it up. It's the easiest way to ask for money.
Iron triangle project management.
It's going to make immediate sense when you see it.
You're right. Immediate sense. Yeah. Scope, cost, time.
Hey, Ruckus.
Yes.
Have you ever heard of MBS Highway?
No.
If you want to track the bond market, go check out MBS Highway. That's where I get all of my daily updates from.
MBS.
And CPI numbers, everything going on today. Rates are finally break fully above 7 this afternoon.
So MBS Highway, that's a subscription, correct? Or
It's a subscription. You can catch, if you don't mind waiting a minute, you can catch their freebie updates. I think, where is it, YouTube maybe, something like that. But they got little articles that punch out to you. Anyways, just keep an eyeball on MBS Highway. Their data is the best I've ever found.
Cool. What's the bond? The 10-year bonds that tied to mortgages or housing?
Yeah, so you have like 10, 7, 5, and 3, 1, and 6 month, and the 10-year drives the majority of like the 30-year fixed rates.
Okay. There's a ticker for that, right? You can't trade it, but there's a ticker.
Correct.
Thank you for educating me.
Oh, wow. Ontario woman who had her breasts and womb removed in irreversible gender transition is now suing healthcare providers. Whoa. The pendulum is swinging.
Where? In America or in Canada?
Canada. Ontario. Mm-hmm.
Hi, guys, as well.
Hey. TNX. Oh, there it is, TNX. What does that usually sit at? It's pretty high today. The tenure.
I don't know where it's at right now.
No, it's at 39 now. High at 39. But no, thank you for teaching me how to fish. I appreciate that.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and also real quick, Michael, why? What's the reason?
What's the reason?
Yeah.
Let's see. After claiming she wasn't in the right state of mind.
Yeah, but these procedures
So
take years, like literally, unless you're rich, right? And then you just go in and pay for it. But then that's on you.
Canadian
But that's on
healthcare.
you. Then
This is social healthcare, right?
right. So did she do it privately or did she use government money?
I imagine it involves government money.
Well, everything in Canada does.
Uh-huh.
They literally have their hands in everyone's pockets there, and all
Yeah,
over
we
the
have
world. Yeah, but
a soft fascism over here.
yeah, for sure. But yeah, no, that's okay. No, I'm just wondering if it was, you know what I mean? Why? You know, I'm assuming that was the reason why.
Yeah, let me see it. Aurelia. Aurelia is Aurelia.
And is this a real
Lawyer.
story or is this a made up story as well? You have to
No.
look it up. You have to verify, see if it's actually a fucking story. That's the thing. Because it could be also pushing the agenda, yes. Yeah.
Okay, here we
Yeah.
go. Double. Oh, come on, love. Why are you making me? It's so weird to have news sites asking you to do things. Okay, so double mastectomy, uterus removed. Ontario woman files lawsuit against doctors who helped her gender transition.
Wait a second.
An Ontario woman who identified as a man for 10 years and had a double mastectomy and partial hysterectomy has filed what appears to be the first lawsuit of its kind in Canada against the doctors who helped her obtain the irreversible medical procedures involved in transitioning to a man. She's suing 8 healthcare providers who permitted her to self-diagnose and prescribe her own treatment without seeking alternatives.
But didn't she have to sign waivers and go through psychology or therapy and for that?
The argument right now is that because there's so much money involved in doing the surgery, that people are just like, hey, you want a BBL? Here you go. You want a BDL? Okay, fine.
Oh, that's interesting.
You can blame Paul and Ruckus for these kinds of people. You know, these are the people that basically fight for their God-given right. Like, I got a right to come in here, and if I don't want to have ears, your
I'll
job
stand out
is to
front with
clear the way.
Ruckus.
You know what I mean?
I'll take the first shot.
You see, Dan. This is the slippery slope of allyship. This is what happens.
You know, it's interesting you say ally because I saw that actually in a flyer for a conference. It was like, "Are you an ally?" And I was like, "Oh shit, this is like a Ruckus con, man."
I wish her well in her journey, his journey.
So he does that. This guy is a ninja. You hear that, Dan? I wish her well on her journey. He even used the right pronoun. This guy.
Yeah. You know, in a lot of ways, Ruckus is just kind of like a new kind of magma. You know what I mean? Really, deep down, he's a Trump lover.
How dare you? How dare
a new kind of MAGA.
How dare you? How dare you?
That's not a denial.
It's
by
not
the way.
white on rice. It's bronze on ivory.
Why can't we play the blackies as much as we play the white ones? You know, shit like that.
I mean, nowadays, the word white itself is like a bad word. You can't say,
Oh,
put that down. Don't you dare say white around people.
You're making them feel uncomfortable. You know, that kind of thing.
Gaslight King was good. Was good, KC.
What's
Yo,
going
Ruckus,
on?
what's up, Manish? What up, Paul? Was good. I'm
We're
in
just trying to
again.
gaslight Ruckus right now.
Oh, word. No, I don't blame
You know,
you.
the only time is every time I hear Gaslight King, I just go to skibbity dope, 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 dip. Yes,
Bip,
yes,
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 yes.
yes,
Yip,
bibbidi
yip,
bip.
yip, yip. Hot, hot, hot. You know, whatever the hell that is. I just go right to that. I think if you're going to be a Gaslight King, you have to sing that song.
Skibbity bip,
And
bop, 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 bip, bop. I would like to see
yeah,
Manish
and you
do
have
the
to do
voice.
it in you got to do it in your videos accent. So it's like,
Mm.
skibbity
Skibbity
bop,
bibbidi bop,
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 geek,
bop,
geek,
dip,
geek,
dip,
geek,
dip,
geek,
dip,
geek,
dip.
geek.
Yeah, okay. Hey, Manish, how's it going? You want to give it a shot?
Y'all out of pocket. Hey, yo, is this on Twitch? You streaming on Twitch right now?
No, no.
We
I,
should be
Like, so you
for
should
the
be on
level
here
of
like
content. Did you
marathoning
see
it, and
that? He
you
just
don't
upgraded the
broadcast that shit.
content.
how do you do that?
It's a way to do
He
it.
just recognized the quality of content and upgraded you to Twitch, and then you said, "No, we're not." What, you a dumbass? Of course
So
we're
how do
we're
you?
we're we're, we're broadcasting on Twitch. We're just down at the moment, but you can pay your dues at the door.
I got you. I got you. I mean, I gotta confine with the lawyers that y'all have in this space. Y'all be having a lot of lawyers in this space, like homegirl. What's her name? I want to say her name's Emma, the young lady.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say
Emma,
Ann, like my
Emma.
homegirl Ann over
With the
there.
with the
You know
with
what I'm
the
saying?
the black and white picture. She got the black and white AV. I'm trying to remember her name. It's not coming to me. Well, I was just gonna.
E Rich.
I think so. Probably. I don't know. Um.
You know the number of times I've said homegirl in my life, next to zero. I feel like I've been denied a part of culture because of it. Because when you say homegirl, you're also sort of defining the notion of what it'd be like to hang out with. And like a homegirl is definitely going to be a girl who's going to be like a chill. You can basically play chess. You can watch Netflix. You can have smoke a blunt with, right? I mean, they're across all the, and at the same time, they're smart enough to go like, "What the fuck you doing? You're
Look.
married."
If
I'm
you're a
sorry, man. I
lawyer,
was drunk, right?
and you find
You know
time
what
to
I'm
come to
saying?
Twitter Spaces, you're definitely of that caliber, like in a good way. You're not your uptight person who just is in their cubicle all day. You're actually trying to fake be
But
outside.
is a homegirl different than a homeboy? Like a homeboy can be a little bit more off-putting. Like you could be like, "I like him and everything, but homeboy needs to stay where he's at," right? You know that has a different connotation than homegirl. Just saying.
I think you're right. Mahomes, the quarterback for the Kansas City Chiefs, I think he can attest to that. Um,
I love
but
that.
yeah, man, I was just trying to chime in on what you said about white. Like, yo, we gotta acknowledge people's culture, bro. If you German, you're not the same as somebody who British. You know what I'm saying? Like, what happened to that?
Exactly. Yeah, that's another reason why Lagatha doesn't show up that much anymore because she knows Germany's out. You know. Wait a minute. I was just making that. Is Germany still in, Paul?
Excuse me.
Germany.
NQ
Germany's
is the
still
new
in, or
nickname. But
well, I
I'm
just know
confused.
that Lagatha has an affinity to being German, and Germany is having these protests over the war in
She's a
Ukraine. So,
confused German. She's transplanting. She's not in her
oh, okay, I
natural
see that.
habitat. So, there's a disturbance in the force while she lives where she's at because it's definitely, how can I put this? It vibrates a lot and there's a lot of weird weather and then she has to deal with human beings. So, it's different.
The emojis don't show up in the recordings, do they?
They don't. They don't. I've
They
realized
do.
that recently.
Yeah, Zealous.1 shows all of the reactions. That's a good idea. If I could just look up Ruckus reactions and stuff, I could encode all of the best things. Hold on.
Free
Drop me
free
down.
gem, Periscope, and then you could do the live, and then you could stream the Periscope live.
I thought Periscope was shut down.
I thought the same thing, so somebody did it the other day. You could still do it.
Yeah, the servers are still up because we're using those. They use 3-second segments of audio when we're doing our talking. They break it up into 3 seconds and then they cache, and then all the all the emojis, show and who they come from and that kind of thing. So
I haven't gotten
I
around to it.
watch that as entertainment. I'm sorry, Josh. Go ahead.
No, you got it, man. I was gonna say I haven't gotten around to it yet because I'm.
Yeah. Yeah, when I watch a conversation and I've got my notebook up, I'll log in and watch it, feed through the developer tool. And then I'm sitting there trying to imagine a good way of how to capture that stuff and then decode it.
I wish I had a fire emoji. Like, there's some emojis that I want. I need the teeth grinding emoji. Like, if you had to make an emoji for me, like that would be it right there. Like, with the teeth grinding, like that. Yeah, that one. So what is the jumbo? I feel like I'm crashing the party. Like, what was on the jumbo? I know y'all are flaming ruckus, and like I don't want to get in the way of a good flame, but I just want to know what the I just want to know what the jumbo
Yeah.
is.
So Ruckus was asked to do something that's out of scope in his job. And I found the best way to address changes in scope is to show them that any change that you make to the scope changes the quality or the amount required or the time required to get something done. So it's kind of an impersonal way to say, look, I'm not saying this. This is just a mathematical formula, like the Pythagorean theorem. And if scope goes up, either the pay goes up or the time takes longer. Which would you prefer?
Well said, well said. I mean, for personally, if you're asking me the question, what would I prefer? I would prefer to spend other people's money and make that happen as far as paying the person what they should be paid. But all of us don't have that
Oh,
luxury.
you're gonna love it in Canada, then.
I believe you. I haven't been yet though.
Yeah, we're the king of using other people's money.
You sure? I thought America championed that first.
You did, but then we kind of use your spending on military to reduce ours. Does that make sense? Because we don't need it. You know what I mean? An attack on us is an attack on you. So we're like, all right, we'll just let you guys handle it.
I mean, he has a point, Dan.
Very cool.
Cause right, what did they say when they had these unidentified objects flying over? They had the something I never heard of, like the National North American Treaty of Air or something like that. Like, and the guy was from the U.S. talking about what's happening in Canada, and I'm like, the Canadians are not upset about this; they're just gonna let this happen. But when we follow the money, stuff start making sense.
Yeah, the U.S. is our largest trading partner, so there's a lot more coordination behind the scenes than anyone is willing to admit.
Yeah, Trudeau said it was okay, so it's okay. Yeah.
Look, he's the one true king, and have you seen his hair? How could somebody with that hair ever lie to us? It's the best hair in politics.
Yeah, it looks kind of Cuban, but
Hey, I mean, how do you think we ended the missile crisis? We traded we had a blood bond made. You guys heard that rumor that Justin Trudeau is Fidel Castro's son? You ever come across that? Da-da. What's the other one, Dan? Da. Like there's a chromatic. I forget
Yeah,
how it goes.
it's dun dun dun. Like that kind of like craziness at the end there.
We need a
excellent.
sampler.
Dan, you gotta help me make a jingle. When I'm gonna need a jingle pretty soon. I definitely gotta need your help, man. Like that's a different talent. There's musicians, and then there's
Oh
people who
yeah,
make
man, that's
jingles.
no problem. I know Michael's the Gaslight King, but I'm the Jingle King. You know what I'm saying? You need a jingle. You know what I mean? Are you tired of sleeping at night? Are you tired of sleeping on the same bed with the same girl? Well, come on down to Ann's Water Park. Take a picture of the beach and the sun and enjoy your hair out there. Ann will take pictures of you while you go through the final moments of your divorce. Anything you need, provided by the Syndicate. Ba-da-da. At Syndicate, we care when we want to. Right? You know what I mean? Something like that. It's kind of funny how bad that all just flows really easily out of my head. I feel like I just love those things growing up, and watched them all the time. And I would when we travel, I would make up. I would try to like give myself another constraint. I'd be like, okay, you can only use words you can see while you're driving, right? So then we would sort of like I would do that to my wife a lot driving. I would sort of use only the words I see and have to like be like, well, Kentucky Fried Chicken, I'm cool with that. It's like because that's what you just drove by, right? So you had to use whatever the things you saw. I don't know why it was fun, but it kind of forced you to do like improv all the time, which is just I don't know. It's fun to do. Kept itching it. Sometimes you have to like itch the shit that you want to do, regardless if you understand why you're doing it, or especially if people are like, why are you doing that? That's like all the more reason you should keep doing it, because people who are comfortable are kind of like, hey man, how come you're not staying in line with the rest of us? And you know what I mean? And you like stepped over the fence and was like, dude, there's like a beanbag chair here and like a blender for margaritas. And so people are like, yeah, but you should be in line with us. What are you in line for? I don't know. We're just in line. So you know what I mean? You have to like,
Nah, that's real. I mean, like, like
yeah,
people will get paid at their job and live week to week, and then, you know, the moment that somebody else wants to do their own thing, and they know that it's gonna be hard. They're like, you're taking a big risk right here. Like, um,
yeah, man.
financial literacy is fundamental, and nothing is gonna change that. Just you standing in line, like you said, is not gonna change that.
Yeah, I found some old stuff I wrote like these short stories back in 2015, 2016, maybe 2017. And man, they're weird. They're like pages of burnout. I don't know. I was just reflecting on that yesterday too. All good.
You're listening to the Syndicate. Simple, not easy.
You do that so effortlessly that the fact that you said you don't stream this on Twitch is just bonkers. It's bonkers. It's bonkers. It's beyond me.
Can you show me how to do it? We can do it right now.
I haven't set mine up yet because I was trying to figure out the some of the legal back end stuff, like as far as like all of that kind of stuff. But
Legal.
yeah, man, gotta make sure you have your data. You know what I'm saying? You don't want somebody filling in the category in the matrix that says author or composer, and you didn't fill in one, so now they're just gonna etch their name over it, right? Twitter's gonna say the composer is Twitter because you're using our platform. You know what I'm saying, but
Nothing wrong with that.
yeah. It's just when it comes time to the check getting cut out and paid, it's just not coming to you.
But there's no check being paid out, though, right? We're just. Oh, so you think that the money that gets paid to the creator is going to get paid to Twitter and not to your own company?
I mean, if you really follow the money, they're getting paid off of us being on here right now. Like they're legitimately making money off of us being in this space right now. It's
Mm-hmm.
helping them to generate ad dollars because they have attention on the platform.
But I'm just saying, if I have a Twitter account that's attached to my name and has my billing details, if I streamed a show to that Twitch page, the money would be paid out to the account on the billing of that account, right?
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, it's just about getting every penny type thing. You know what I'm saying? Not necessarily that you're wrong. You're absolutely right. It's just you. The example that I was talking about recently with somebody was like, all right, so Justin Bieber, he's a Canadian, isn't he? Is he not? Is he not?
Oh
Can I
yeah.
get a round of applause for Justin Bieber? Right, Justin Bieber is a guy who sold his whole catalog for like $150 million, something like that, right?
Hmm.
Lil Wayne sold his catalog for less than that, and he has more music. We could argue all day long about
Wait a
the
minute.
quality.
Hold on. You think Justin Bieber is less popular than Lil Wayne?
No, I didn't say
I don't
popular. I say
know.
the amount of songs in the catalog.
Yeah, it doesn't matter the amount of songs, right? You could have 1,000 pages worth less than a poem,
I
right?
guess. I wasn't making an argument about value. I was saying the amount of time. It's like, all right, so we go to court for something that has nothing to do with music. So we go to court for my invention of a printer, right? And then your invention of a printer is older. Like it takes way less energy for me to say, Dan, hey, go ahead and read over my stuff if it's newer than if it's older. Like, cause Lil Wayne didn't care about nothing. He just wanted his check. Look, Cash Money, Birdman, hey, boy, it's my son. That's my son. You know what I mean? That's my son. And he giving him a check, so you don't care. But Justin Bieber, his mom stepped in and was like, hey, let's have the lawyers look over this first. All right, sweetheart. You're working with a black man named Usher. We can't trust him. He's an American and he's from the South and he doesn't have a Southern accent. Don't ever trust a person from the South who doesn't have a Southern accent. So we're gonna have our lawyers look over this, and when we go to sell our publishing and all of this stuff, we're gonna be straight. I mean, that's how I see it.
So I'm just saying, like, if we want to stream a Twitter Spaces on Twitch, um, would any of that apply?
I'm not the person to ask about that, but I just wanted to start a pot. I just wanted to set off the alarm.
Wicked.
I just wanted to wreak havoc.
I love it.
I'm still here for it though, like, cause I was y'all were mid flame of ruckus, so I don't want to have stopped the flame of ruckus, cause like you know what I'm saying, like the AV alone is like intriguing, and then I see Pinky in the top, and I'm like, okay, this guy is definitely on some tomfoolery. He's on some tomfoolery.
Some people accuse him of Uncle Tom Foolery.
That's hilarious. Nah, that's hilarious.
Ruckus is doing his best not to respond. Good for you, Ruckus. You're learning. I really did my best with that one. Good for you. That's some restraint.
I like Pinky. It's black cinematic excellence at its best.
I like that you said that because the term that's usually used is not officially a derogatory term in the social sense, but like, yeah, I'm not gonna say it. I'm gonna leave it. I guess I triggered Dan. I don't know, maybe Dan got busy, but like I feel like I triggered Dan with what I said. I wasn't trying to trigger anybody, but you know, it's just it's just what happens. If look, I don't really trust Usher. I haven't met him, and I don't know about the allegations.
You think there's something going on with him and Puff Daddy?
Wow, damn, that may be. I'm just saying though, how many people do you know from the South, like from the state of Georgia, who don't have a Southern drawl? Like how many people? Like really?
I never picked up on that until right now. That's deep. Where is he from?
He's from Atlanta. Yeah, he doesn't have a Southern drawl at all.
That's a conspiracy right there. That'd be a good conspiracy theory.
Is he really from Atlanta, or is he from Ohio or Pennsylvania? You know,
And no one questions that. Like no one else has questioned that. You're the first person I heard question that.
it's because I'm I'm a little bit out there sometimes. So my tinfoil hat, I kind of put it down for a second, but I'm not gonna claim to not own one. You know, like it's like it's like the jacket that's in the closet that you don't bring out all the time. It's just like every once in a while you gotta blow the dust off and like make sure that it still fits.
Trying to look for the raucous impression of you know.
I'm just going through the Usher catalog and I'm like listening to him talk. I'm like, this he does not sound like a Southerner. Like that's deep. I think we need to bring that up at the next meeting.
Why? Where's he
Usher,
supposed
come
to
to
be
the
from?
stage, please.
Yeah, but that guy invented a whole genre of
And why is the
dancers.
South? Why didn't they see this? Where are they hiding?
Hold on, what do you have against Usher?
It's kind of hard when like the guy's like taking your girl, or your girl is like just infatuated with him. Like it's pretty hard to like attack that when you're trying to make sure that she's paying attention to you. Like like think about it. Usher comes in the room. Like how much time do you have to distract that? Like legitimately like made the category of I'm not gonna say he made it, but he fashioned the idea of talking about taking somebody's girl in a song. Like he fashioned it. Like gotta let it burn. Like come on, man. Like he's talking about his side chick in the song.
Yeah, but sorry, I was gonna say like,
So Meta,
a lot of people's most proudest moment as a man is taking away someone else's girl. If you talk to them about it, they
Meta's
enjoy
time is
that
money.
feeling.
She's on break, so we got to give her the floor because she doesn't have a lot of time.
No, actually, I'm not on break today. I made $700 in like 3 days, and my back started hurting, so I gave up my morning shift, and I'm drinking coffee and tending to grown up shit. But really quickly, I'm doing stuff. I was just listening, but I just wanted to I have a retort for you. My southern accent was beat the fuck out of me. So like, if you were to just meet me in public, you wouldn't be able to really tell that like I'm from the deep south, right? I can turn my accent on. I can get very southern
Can
like
you
I
give
do.
us the code switch? Like, what is
What?
the non-Southern meta?
Is this because I feel like when I just carry myself around humans, I'm not very southern, but when I'm like at the barbecue restaurant, they respond to me better if I have a very slow
Mm.
drawl, right? Because that's what they're used to, so they give me their orders quicker. So it's a very simple way of speaking, a very slow, simple way of doing it. I don't want to do it on a recorded space because it's terrible, but yeah. So I mean, maybe you can't trust me though, right? Maybe that means you can't trust me. That's a good point to raise. I don't. I mean, you never know, but yeah.
No, I hear
Hi,
it.
y'all.
It's there. You can, Paul puts his out there, but Meta, you kind of hide your. You're like
No,
the
because
plug.
Paul is of a generation around here. The thing is the people who are above the age of like 45 or so have a much slower draw. They just naturally do. So like he doesn't like turn it on like a whole lot. Like that really is a really natural to him. Because that's just for his age bracket around here. It's a different kind of draw. It was actually they say the southern draw is the slowed down the English accent, the colonial English accent that came over here. If you slow down that British accent, it just becomes elongated and southern, and that's where we got it at. Yeah. Okay.
Way to hold
That's
it down
dope.
for Usher and the people in his camp. Hold up, we gotta get a round of applause for that. He just held it down all the way. Cause look, I was coming for him. I'm saying he's not trustworthy, but she's saying maybe just us Northerners just kept on telling him you need to talk proper and shit like that. It's possible.
Code switching. It's code switching, right?
We all do it.
I feel it because my parents are from Kentucky, but I only mine's comes out when I get mad, and that's other than that, it's cool. But if I
Yeah,
get
the
triggered,
angrier you get, the more
then
you become calm.
that's when it comes
Mhm.
out. But I guess because I grew up with angry black people, so that could be why too. So when I get triggered, you'll hear it.
Yeah, mine comes out when I'm mad.
But I do go to the South in Alabama, and I cannot understand a word. Like, this one waitress asked us if we wanted some ass water, and I was like, ass water.
Ice
But
water.
she went.
That's the deep South.
Texas does the I too, like the elongated I. That's really Texas. If you hear Sprite or something like that, they're probably from close to Texas.
Look, man, I'm over here. I'm about to like take a break from what I'm actually doing as far as work and actually like write out how the syndication should actually like be genred and like categorized and shit. Because you know what? Like think about it. There's no laugh track, so people can't see the laughing emojis that we're putting. So where people are seeing this and not understanding, like this is like sitcom type humor. What do they call it? The shows that have no laugh track. I forgot what it's called, but like yeah, that's
Oh, like the AI. Have you watched the AI Seinfeld that has the weird laugh tracks that come?
Hmm.
Yeah.
That AI Seinfeld is out of pocket.
You're out of pocket, Michael.
Pants inside out.
are you deleting what people posted at Jungle? I keep seeing stuff
No,
going.
that's me. I'm playing around. I got big fat fingers and I'm having difficulty posting what I need to post.
Just looking through all of Ruckus's past spaces. You pretty much talk to us. Huh. We're like the only place you go on stage. Interesting.
I really did like the idea of including like the emotional responses as like an audio format for the recorded spaces because I listen to the recordings a lot, right? I have to. And I wish they would be broken up and they were more like easily navigable. Like if there were timestamps on them, that would be dope too. But I like the like I wish they would put the emojis. Like that would be so helpful.
So you go back and you listen to these recordings.
I have to, bro, or like I have to pop into them. Like I'll scan through to see when like it's like the group of humans that are like, you know what I mean? Or you can kind of go by like titles because Mike changes the titles a little bit. Sometimes he teases you and he keeps the title and it's already been derailed from that, but they're a wee bit helpful. Yeah, I have to. Like I have to work 12-hour shifts. I can't. I have to keep up with y'all. It's interesting. So I love the recordings. Isn't that why they're recorded though? You know, it's like a podcast that you can go back and listen to.
Yeah, I guess and now I think I need to be more careful and hold myself accountable
It's
on what I
already too
say
late.
because people go back and
It is
listen to this
already
again.
too late, Ruckus.
Ruckus, it's
It's already there.
way too late.
Way too late, baby. Way too late.
You're in a book somewhere.
I told my wife, I was like, I asked Alice Goshi if I could put my hands in his wife's front pockets, and she was like, "What does that mean?" I was like, "I don't know. It's a mind fuck, you know."
Oh,
Like,
can I tell you what I did to Alice Koshy because I was being petty Betty? Um,
yeah,
Yeah, so he called me a bitch in a space, and I really didn't appreciate that very much. So I have several alt accounts, and I reported him on all of them for hateful content, and I got his account locked. They just got back to me, and it made me really happy. Yeah, I was like, that wasn't nice of you, Alice Koshi. Don't call me that.
Wait. When did this happen?
Oh, I don't know, a couple of weeks ago, maybe, or something like that. They got back to me. I was happy that they only took a couple of weeks to get back with me on it. So good job, Elon.
That's dope. I love to hear that. That's dope.
He can still come into the spaces, though. I think it just said that he couldn't like tweet, like, retweet, or stuff like that. But I think he can still come in and talk. I don't know. I haven't heard him.
Once they started letting people write books on AI, because I heard somebody say yesterday, they're like, "Oh yeah, there's a whole bunch of books being put out on Amazon with like AI written like books from ChatGPT and whatnot." Like, I'm like, yo, if you wrote a book before ChatGPT, you need a certain level of respect, because now it's crazy.
Sounds like you're a protein chauvinist.
I guess if that if the shoe fits weird, I guess, right?
That was
What?
fucking gold, by the way. That protein chauvinist shit. That was, it was beautiful.
Ahmed doesn't give a fuck.
No, he don't, and I love it. I want that to be the title of something. Ahmed doesn't give a fuck.
How are we all?
What's up, Hurls?
Meta, are you on coffee? I've never heard you speaking at like a high, really fast.
Yeah, I'm super caffeinated. I had a lot of shit to do. I am so caffeinated right now.
You're on
All right, I'll
fire.
change it.
And
What's going on, Hurls? Hey, Hurls, how come we can't release that video we did? Treegen's not happy with it?
we can release it. We
All right,
can
sounds good.
release. We can release the tour video now too. And he started up a Facebook page with his father, and he's since we last spoke, he's done 5 quotes and won 4 jobs. Doing permaculture work around properties around the area. So it's been pretty good. And there's a local community radio that wants to meet up and talk to me about the interview as well. I'm going to go out maybe this weekend. It might be this weekend or next weekend, and catch up with him and maybe do a series on him. He's quite an interesting young chap. Talk about the 2 months walk that he's going to do to Uluru, and I'd love where Ayers Rock is. I don't know if you guys know about Ayers Rock, but yeah, it's a big hike, they call it walkabout.
It's kind of like a slow version of Forrest Gump.
yeah.
One day I just started walking, shit like that.
Yeah.
Hey Paul, I just want to like ask, why'd you pin that to the jumbo? Like, what was the thought process behind that? Like,
Mike always talks about the Greeks and stuff, and I figured I'd just share it. All the men in the room would appreciate it, because
Especially Rockets.
I know they're highly intellectual. So,
Yeah, those pictures make Rockets feel good.
Look, man,
like he is the chosen people.
They're growers, not showers. Maybe did you think about that? Did you think about
That's
that?
right. In the wintertime, man, it gets cold. It shrinks. There's shrinkflation, Paul.
It's a deflationary asset.
um,
I mean,
uh,
Hurl's probably got his swinging around right now. It's warm there, so Hurl, the northern folks is in their belly.
it's almost like a time machine, isn't it? I was just gonna say,
And not when he hunts, though, right? When he hunts, he pushes it into his stomach.
I'd love to learn how to
It's
do
called
that.
elastic recoil. That's what it's called.
I can actually move my ears back and forward, so I think I've still got a bit of
It's a good indicator.
primate in me. Maybe I can try and do it. The Buddhists can do it; they can draw it back up or something like that. Apparently, can draw. Anyway, I
Right,
did
right
want
now.
to say, yeah, before we all start turning into trolls, can you at some stage do the best of baiting rackets?
Oh
Because
yeah. Uh-huh.
I was listening the other day,
Oh no.
and there's actually from memory now there's a fair bit of good content
Oh, it's the
of,
best. When you want to
of,
talk about best stuff,
Drop him down to listen.
oh,
Can you
that
drop him down?
that formula of just how Rackus's rants. That would be a great name for it. Rackus's
hmm
and then
I think
in
you
the
could take
formula,
a
you just sort of you lead him into the conversation, and then he sort of opens up, and then
I
boom,
think Ruckus and Nova Scotia could be a Vegas show.
it'd be a good laugh for the best of the syndicate. Definitely, that would be a whole segment just on Ruckus.
Boo.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say families are always rising and falling, you know? Yeah, like Alice Koshi is like the Black Panther's wet dream.
Is Mike talking? I can't hear him. I see his mic going off. He's trolling me, isn't he?
I hear you.
You can hear me.
You
Yes,
can't hear me,
Ruckus.
Ruckus?
Mike's messing with me.
Check, check.
I can see it. He is.
Why would he do that?
Oh my gosh, Michael. You might have to leave and come back, sir.
No, I can hear everyone else. He's messing with me. That's what he wants me to leave and then come back and then leave and come back. You know, he likes.
Gaslighting.
Yeah, he's gaslighting.
I mean, I can't set fire to a wet piece of tinder, right?
Takes time.
You just everyone has gas in them. You just have to understand where it is. And it just takes a small spark. Well placed. And then you can be like, I can't believe you're acting this way. What? I didn't expect. Did you? Oh, yeah. Can you believe he just blew up like that? I don't know what happened. You know?
Do you think that like I know some of y'all probably have kids, but do you think that like having a child allows you to go to another level of gaslighting? Like I've started to think that like once you have a self outside of yourself that's not really yourself, like your ability to gaslight just exponentially increases. Like I don't know, maybe you have to see it differently.
I try not to gaslight my child. Like sometimes you kind of have to, but like the Santa thing, felt real guilty about that. I really like to answer his questions that he has with like facts and logic, and we like to Google and look at science answers and stuff. But like you do have to. So like I mean, it's just like a means of preservation for the child at some point.
I
But
think that's true,
I try
and
not to.
I will give my parents credit and criticism at the same time, right? So I don't really bring the story up unless somebody says something like what you said, but like right, my experience in school was my parents never told me that Santa Claus was real. right? So I walked around with that secret for like ever until I got to be like 8 years old, right? This lady, this little girl, she started testing me, like she kept being annoying, and I'm like, okay, just leave me alone, right? So she's talking about Santa Claus, like, oh, like, what are you gonna get from Santa Claus? Are you gonna make cookies for Santa? And I'm sitting there like, yo, I really don't care. Like, I'm not gonna do nothing for Santa Claus. Like, I don't care about him, right? So she starts going off on me, trying to like get the other kids to antagonize me, right? So I just been like,
I see it. I see it as an enhancement. I see it as an enhancement of their imagination when you gaslight them on specific things, and factual information as they grow helps develop a sense of touch to reality. But then there's a point that you have to bring them into the real world and then understand it was about their imagination, and to wander into a land so that they can use their imagination when they're adults.
yeah, yeah.
Bravo.
It was just rough for me after
That
that.
was
Like
lovely.
I told her Santa Claus is not real. After that,
Well,
Santa Claus is real. Santa
well,
Claus
what's the
is real.
difference?
Like,
I threatened all the older ones with the last one in the loop. If you say a word, he's got to find it out himself, and he's got to come ask. And if you tell him, I'll cut your legs off. So
look, I wasn't going.
Well, decentralization is the adult Santa Claus, right? And we all let people believe it. you know,
Ah!
boom, boom.
what's the difference?
It was AWS the whole
That's the
time.
soundbite of the show right there.
It was AWS the whole time.
Daddy
You're a mean
Bezos.
banana. That's not very nice. Decentralization is real, Meta. How dare you? It's going to give us our gifts on February 25th during the next halvening or some shit. That's like Christmas for Bitcoin people, the halvening.
Flag on the play.
that's an interesting thing that you raise, because what everyone's saying, like when I bring out Ducky and Spider, you know, and my other one just crawling around like a spider, they they're not even parts of me, because the way she reacts with them is completely different to the way my daughter reacts with me. And it's like this whole different reality. It's not my arm. It's a new little, little a little entity that she cares for, and she carries on her hand and tells him to pop up on her hand and stuff like that. It's no longer her dad. So it's an amazing little part of their mind where they can create. It's also creativity as well as imagination. Being able to do that sort of stuff as a kid, you just see the body language and everything change. It's kind of cool to watch.
Yeah, mine were little snakes, and they were wackle wackle. And
Waka waka.
well, yeah, and I would do voices just like you, and they would raise up over the countertop as they were eating, and I'd be underneath the
Yeah.
countertop, and they would talk to them, and then the other one come up, and they'd talk to each other, and then they'd fight with each other, and I mean, it was so much fun to be a child again.
They say that when we play with our children, it actually does give us dopamine and oxytocin and all those endorphins when we just engage in active play, right? You know what I mean? So it is actually fun to pretend to be a child again.
Wait a
Oh, yeah.
minute. Is if decentralization is the new Santa, then Twitter is where we can talk about the gifts that we want to get.
Facts. So like, I want to give Dan some flowers because Dan came back and he didn't let me being triggering or gaslighting stop him from coming back and just being awesome. You know what I'm saying? Because
Decentralization is Santa Claus for adults. Thank you, everyone. Good job.
Is that a new title?
What if we flip the coin on that one? What if we're all just childs trying to be adults, and then that in turn is society? I often always think that I'm just a child in
no,
a
you're
in a man's
yeah, I
body.
think you're right because you know, like with the whole AI thing, they done had it for some time now. Like it's like the elites and the oligarchs are just playing with us. Like, oh, look at them over there. Look at them. Look at these fucking. Look at these goofballs over here. You know, we could have robots doing all of this shit, but let's just have some entertainment.
Hey, you took your tinfoil hat out of your closet again, didn't you? You
Well,
did.
hold on.
Does it fit well?
If we allow kids to believe in Santa Claus, what's the difference between letting adults believe in decentralization? Isn't that the same treatment?
Yeah, and what's the benefits, right? So is there benefits in having that optimistic hope for a little bit, right?
Oh,
Like even though it's
yeah.
going to get ultimately crushed.
Yeah, because I mean, imagine people feel like they have an escape from inflation, so they don't complain about inflation because they believe that their asset will go up, right? So,
And yeah,
so inflation doesn't matter to them because they feel like they have an escape. That's a very
So you just had the
important.
Bane versus Batman conversation. That's what you're saying. You don't want to let them die with hope. Is that you're on your Batman?
Well, here's the thing: we need Batman and the Joker to run a society.
Said Bane, but okay, all right. I'll let you have
Yeah,
that.
absolutely. I think the Joker is actually more critical for actually building society than Batman.
Mm-hmm.
I don't watch movies. Can you explain that to me?
All right. So look, right. If you watch the Return of the Batman, I think that's what it's called, where Batman comes back after he's going into hiding, and Bane is like running shit. He's fucking shit up. Um, there's a part in the end where the kids are about to go die off and like go off of this bridge because he blew up the bridge, right? And he's sitting there telling them like, "You're not gonna die. It's not." There's the bus driver is sitting there telling the kids, "We're gonna be okay. You guys just need to pray and everything like that." And like Batman is
Sorry about
like,
that. Let me try.
"Huh?"
I think it's because the Joker is more familiar with his like human side, right? He's more familiar with his powers as an emotional being, whereas Batman is in the pursuit of control and discipline. Control and discipline doesn't really encourage people to think or grow or necessarily live. It's about pulling things back and making things more secure and saying if you are in the right class, you can move forward. You know what I mean? Whereas Joker is more pure chaos plus the opportunity is within you for to pursue whatever you want. It's much more of a free spirit. Now you can say the downside and the fact he wanted to kill a lot of people. I don't think he ever really wanted to kill a lot of people. He just wanted to do things of which people were in the way. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but
You want to
And
know
Bane
a
Bane
yeah,
really wanted to
car?
kill people though.
and real quick,
Go ahead, Aaron.
yeah, yes. So I think what they're all trying to say is it's a metaphor for balance, right? At the end of it, yeah. Okay, there we go.
Exactly.
Thank you for that
You're
So
concise
welcome. Yeah.
summarization.
Well, you're welcome.
I love that evolution. Thank you.
the
That was
laws
good.
of the universe. So the Joker, they follow the laws of the universe. They're not bound by society's rules. They're bound
Yes,
by
they're bound by the laws
quite, you know,
of the universe and nature of balance. Yes,
right. Yeah. So it's a
Well,
natural
I
phenomenon.
mean, one is looking for freedom of expression, and the other is looking to insulate people from the side effects of expressions, right? You need them both.
yeah, yeah.
Batman is not
Again, like
necessarily a happiness
it's a
person.
visual representation of that. All good movies are right, or all good. Anyway, because it hits somewhere inside of us, the balance. I think. Anyway, hi guys. I just wanted to drop in and say hi. I'm at lunch, so fancy.
Hey,
Hey. Hi.
Hello.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
hey. I would love to hear Hurls' hey.
hey.
Hey,
Hey, what do you do that you're on your lunch break for? What's your monetary job?
Right now I trim weed.
I'm sorry, what did you
I
say?
trim
What?
weed. I trim marijuana.
Oh my god. Like the bud tenders and stuff like that, but no, you just cut
No,
it. You just tend
yeah,
it.
yeah. I'm not at the front. Yeah, yeah. I'm in the back. I guess. Yeah.
That's such a cool job.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, it's all right. Yeah, I mean, it's you know what? I'm not gonna glorify it. It's not. It's a shit job. Don't, you know what I mean? If anybody tries to
Really?
tell you any different, yeah, don't believe them. It's horrible.
What makes it
The
bad
only
about hanging out with marijuana plants?
because you're not hanging out with marijuana plants. You know what I mean? You're murdering them. You're giving them
Oh no.
haircuts. You know what I mean? They're already dead. They're not alive when I get them. Right? They're already almost dead. And then I mean, I mean, I'm just letting you know. The work is hard.
I appreciate the realism.
Yeah,
Thank you.
I mean, you're working with your hands. Like I'm not on spaces or whatever doing the sort of thing a lot because I work with my hands. You're working with your hands, however long you're working. You don't work, you don't make money. You know what I mean? It's not easy. And depending on what sector you're in, like, yeah, you could get a job and get paid hourly, but they're still making you trim a ridiculous amount in a day just to keep your job. You know what I mean? It's farming.
You have
It's
like
it's
a
fucking
quota
farming.
that you
Yeah,
have
it's
to hit.
farming. Like a lot of people like, oh, it's marijuana. No, it's farming. Think of it as a potato farm and go there.
So you're like a white Mexican.
Dude, yeah, I mean I am, an immigrant. I have an immigrant job. Yeah, you know.
Good for you. Does that make you more woke?
No, it
Right?
makes me poor. Um.
Oh.
Yeah. No. So I mean, there was money in the marijuana industry before it became legal. Now it's just the people who are able to throw up money for the licenses. Those are the only people making money. What they did when everything became legal is that they slashed everyone's like money. You work in an industry for over 10 years, you expect some sort of like, jump in salary at some point. Yeah, you know what happened? They just turned around and went, go fuck yourself. Here, you want to get paid $18 an hour? I'm like, no, I don't. Actually, you wanted to, you want to take all my education in this industry and then pay me 18 bucks an hour for it? No, I'm going to go and trim. How about that? I'm going to go and I'm going to go to the bottom of the barrel and I'm going to go trim again because at least there you make you make a little bit more. You know what I mean? So if you work and if you're fast. So no, it is not glamorous. It's shit. Please don't ever encourage anybody to get into this industry. You know what I mean? It is absolute hell. All right, rant over. So yeah, there it is. There it is. You know what I mean? There it is. It's farming. I mean, speak to a farmer. They're not gonna glamorize their job. Actually, not even a farmer. Speak to a farm worker. There you go. Speak to the potato picker. Speak to the strawberry picker. You know what I mean? That's my job right now. So it's literally. I mean, here's the thing. I'm for legalization, but right, and here's your balance.
So
Right? Yeah.
is there something that could do your job for, is there like a machine that's been created that can simulate you and do your job for you,
Oh
like a
yeah. No, no,
marijuana
no.
control
No,
bot?
there has been machines for a long time. But when they want to sell their marijuana for high price, a machine can't do that.
Hmm.
They need a person to do it. But
You're like
now,
the Bentley
yeah. So
seller.
we're
Yeah.
top tier here, right? This is, you know what I
Hmm.
mean. So
This ain't no Mexican trimmer. This is
no, I mean,
true
no,
blue.
I mean, we're trained. We're trained trimmers. But I work in we are trained
Hmm.
motherfucking top tier trimmers here. Now, here's the thing: it's difficult to, they still are at the thought of like we can still pay you, minimum wage, or they're trying. They're not for us, but they're trying. It's a tough business. Yeah, I guess Josh has the end up.
So I just want to say, right, this kind of validates my point that I was making before she popped in the room on the
Oh,
space
cool.
about my tinfoil hat idea, right, Meta? You know what I'm saying? Look, listen. If they have the machines that can do the job and they still have people doing it, what is that?
Well,
What
I
did
mean,
I
we have
say?
machines to make watches, but Rolex still sells out.
I mean, it's the
What is
craftsmanship,
it?
but I hear what you're saying. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, there's always going to be, I'm just saying, they don't pay. Nobody's paying a living wage in this industry. Yeah. So, yeah, so grow your own. Please grow your own. Don't support it. You know what I mean? If you're in
Hmm.
America or Canada, look, fuck, it's legal to grow 6 plants probably in your backyard. Do that. You know what I mean? Do you know how much six
Yep.
I wish it
plants?
was. It is
Or if
not
it's
legal
not,
to do
my apologies. Hopefully, it will be one
Going to
day.
Canada.
But you know what I mean? If it's legal to grow marijuana, grow it. Grow it on your own. It is not that difficult to grow to like grow 2 plants.
No, it's not. It's kind of hard to stop it from
It's
growing. To be
it's
honest
hard
with
to
you.
grow like 5,000 plants. You know what I mean? In
Yeah.
one room.
Yeah.
Try scaling up, motherfucker. Everyone thinks they can
Hmm.
scale up. Talk about scaling up. You know what I mean? That's no. But you can do
No.
2 plants. Is that me or you? Oh, okay. Yeah, you can. Anyone can do 2 to 4 plants at home if it's legal. You know what I mean? Don't support this industry.
And there's such a difference, dude. There is such a
Yeah,
difference between going to someone's backyard
yeah. It's
and picking it
clean. It's
out
clean.
and
You know what they
oh,
put on plants
dude,
here to make them grow?
dude, it might as well be a cigarette.
You may as well. Yeah.
When you
To
look
be
at the
fair, you may as well
alcohol,
be
when you
smoking crack. Like it is the same. You know what I mean? It is. I
dude,
mean, it's
you
all. Ugh, it's
you
disgusting.
ever talk to people and realize how much alcohol and contaminants are in like things like shatter and tinctures and
It's
shit?
gross. Yeah. Yeah.
Yo,
Please don't buy pre
fuck,
rolls. You know what they make pre rolls out of?
that shit is like
Floor shit.
flammable. Yeah.
Trim. Trim.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's. I can rant. I can rant. I can rant because there's a lot of shit wrong in this industry. Nobody talks about it because one, nobody's been able to because it's been illegal, right? How do you know?
My
Like, how do you know it's what it's like? You know what I mean? I'm only talking from the legal standpoint. You know what I mean? And what I've
my
seen.
brother-in-law used to take pictures. He used to get sent like buds,
Yeah.
and he used to take like high quality, like here are the waxy looking trichomes and all that stuff. Now he takes pictures of toys, but yeah, there's still a market for that high end, well trimmed product.
Oh yeah, there is. Go to your local dispensary. It's right there.
I find my local Jamaican.
Yeah, that motherfucker's not trimming your weed like that. Let me tell
Nope.
you.
He'll just hand you the plant and say, "Here you go,
Right?
have fun."
Bulk price with stem. Good
Well,
luck.
the stem
Yeah,
has a purpose. You know what I'm saying? It has a purpose. People try
Oh
to
hell
like
yeah.
you can make
go
tea.
around it. Like,
Yeah, you can make tea and
Well,
shit. Yeah.
it depends on who grows it. A lot of times it's poison. Please don't use it in your garden. When somebody's like, "Hey, I got a whole bunch of fucking stems from this grow house," just don't take it. Don't put it in your garden. You know what I mean? Like, like it's gonna kill the microbes in your soil. So, you know what I mean? Anyway, but yeah, yeah. As I said, no, it's just gardening. Look, it's gardening is farming, right? That's all it is, and
Hmm.
it's hell. I mean, nobody's running to that industry. So, but as I said, yeah, grow your own. You'll be better off, and you can make your own tincture and stuff too. That way. And then look, get together with like 4 of your friends who grow. You all grow different strains, and then you can, like co-op your own shit together.
Bud Fest. Smoking the
Yeah.
Iron.
friend fest, friend bud fest.
Just gonna go ahead and take a hit here for Ann. And just for all of you, I'm gonna do holy shit, I was just gonna do like a hit for every letter in your name. You got a lot of letters, so I'm just gonna do Ann right now for short. All right, let's do it. A. That was a good
What
A.
the hell is wrong with this room? What is this room? Mike, your rooms are the shit. This is
Yeah,
What
I
nuts.
have
did I do?
9. I have 9 letters in my name. So yeah, good luck.
This is dope.
Let's go.
I didn't
Let's
do
fucking
anything.
go.
I'm gonna make it.
Let's go.
I'm gonna do 2 N's right now, one big hit. N.
I don't don't know. Here's a question because I don't. There might be a couple people who know what I'm talking about. But I mean, how many pounds do you think a human being like trims by hand in a 9 hour shift? We'll say 10 hour shift.
Like a Caucasian or a Mexican?
It does
14.
not matter. Actually, that does not
20
matter in
pounds?
this case. In my experience, that means fuck all. Go on.
Okay.
14.
I'm gonna say 300.
Holy
I'm gonna
shit.
say
Pounds?
three
Pounds?
pounds.
Curls?
14.
I'm gonna go with
Do they have pounds in Australia?
I'm going with 50 pounds.
10.
3.
Pounds?
Yeah, pounds.
All right, so
14.
help us out. How much is like one bushel or like the little
Okay,
amount that's taken off?
so to even get a job,
Bushel.
put it this way, to even get a job trimming for hourly rate, which is paying pretty much like 18 bucks an hour. I've heard 15, 16 here. You have to trim more than 2 pounds. 2 pounds is the minimum. You can't get under 2 pounds. I like on
So
a good day, like I'm like on a good day, like my normal day say is like 4 if I'm not even pushing. Okay? If I push
so
with good
do you
product, it can go up to like 7 or 8 pounds. But why push when you're getting paid hourly, right?
I love seeing Anne's pictures because she's the most relaxed person on Twitter. You ever see
So,
Anne's picture?
She is.
so when
Just perpetually
you say
chill.
trimming, like what are you actually doing? Like what's the process?
Okay, well,
I don't think
after it's dried, right? After it's cut down and dried and cured for, it's hanging for 10 days, you take it off of the stem and and trim the bud and then put the bud in a bag and then that gets weighed and then that product goes into, circulation.
Somebody asked me for a weed tea recipe. Do you have one?
No, I would go online. Yeah.
I have one. I have to go through my like different iClouds or whatever, but I figured maybe you might have one.
No, yeah, no, don't have one offhand. I always love that question too with my friends. Hey, can you just grab me some weed when you go to work? I'm like, what the fuck? Like,
I said tea. I said tea.
I legit need to make a real documentary about what it's really like to work. Not this vice shit where it's like, oh, they're coming. You know what I mean?
now we're talking.
Like a
Bit of
real
Project Veritas.
documentary. Like, fuck you. Like, this is fucking work. You know what I mean? Like, this is not just work, but this is actually what's going on. We can't really do that, you know.
But who goes to work without, finding the perks?
What perks? Yeah.
We're talking about, the Bane and Balance and the Joker. Like you've got to at least pocket a bit of that stuff, don't you? I would.
Nope. You're watch, dude. I wouldn't dream of it. You can't steal from these places. You think these places are owned by like, your dad or your mom? No, you don't steal from people. How about that? You just don't steal. You don't steal from people. You don't pot. You just don't. You just don't. It's just a thing. You know what I mean? And that's the thing. That some places are cool. Like some places will kick back. They used to kick back stuff. You know what I mean? But now it's all metrics. If you work in a legal place, there's no kickbacks of anything. It's all counted for. Like everything is weighed. Like the stems are weighed. Like your waste is weighed. You know what I mean? Like it's crazy. Everything is like written down. It's a whole system now that they've come up with.
Do y'all use
Yeah.
barcodes or
Yeah.
QR
Every
codes
plant
on
has a barcode.
everything so it tracks it through the system?
Yeah. Every plant has a
Yeah.
barcode. Like that barcode is like put into the system. You snip that barcode off. You keep it. You know what I mean? So everyone knows like who's trimming what, which one as well. It's crazy. It's all meticulously calculated now.
But let me tell you something, Anne. All those things that weigh, they fall out of calibration all the time.
No, Charles.
Are you allowed to wear? Are you allowed to wear long sleeves and stuff like that?
Yeah. We have to wear suits. Like I have a moon suit.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Do you get weighed as well? Like, do they check you and search you and stuff?
No, but we have to bring in like clear bags and stuff. Yeah.
On the
I found a
Wow.
scales, you actually have to have those as part of your Q quality assurance program. That they're certified usually every 6 months to a year. So
Yeah.
I
That's
found a
true.
video of a
Makes,
ruckus code switching at the top.
Is it going to pick up a butt a day? Like if you slipped up your long sleeve a butt a day, like
I don't know what you just said, Rolls. Oh.
like a bud. What's the little things that you trim?
Oh yeah, the
What do you guys
buds.
call
Yeah,
them?
yeah, yeah, buds. Yeah, the
Yeah,
buds. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
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 So you could just like slip up your
Nope.
sleeve a bud a day,
Nope.
or just keep it in between your fingers, down in the web
No,
there.
but you know what
Just tuck it
you
in
know what I
there.
do. Oh my god, every time the giggles come. I
if you get an
Wait.
employee
You're being
discount,
I
recorded.
am
You're being
no, no,
recorded.
no, it's absolutely legal. But no, it's like the finger hash, like the hash you get off the, you know what I mean. So I've got like I got like huge balls of hash, which is kind of cool.
no residue.
Yeah, residue. Yeah, it's kind of cool.
That's what hash is.
Yes, that's what hash is.
It's processed a little
It
different.
is, but that is
She's basically
technically what hash
packing
is.
keef.
Yeah.
She's packing keef under her nails when she does the
Yeah,
buds.
and it's not nails really. It's the gloves. Oh shit! I think I have to go back in. Fuck me. Ugh, I hate my life. All right.
The reason why I know about this is I researched it. If they were going to go in Arkansas to recreational, what it would be involved, just as a happy trail to look at the state laws and
Yeah, yeah.
all the things that are involved. So it's definitely
Oh yeah,
real tight.
yeah. It's super tight. Like as I said, everything is weighed out. You know, everything is and we all had to learn that, right? Coming from, you know, when you get introduced to the whole system and everything.
Yeah, coming from an engineering background, they tell the operators one thing, and they believe it, but
Yeah,
it's
dude.
yeah, there's
Are you
ways
kidding
around it.
me?
There's ways
Duh.
around it.
Of course it is. I mean, look, it's all again, it's farming. It's any business though. Any business is like that. You know what I mean? Bar business, fucking any business I've been in. You know what I mean? Uh, there's always things. All right, guys, I'm gonna go on to listener. But
Cool.
yeah. No, this has been fun. Thank you for letting me fucking download rage a little bit. I needed to before I walked back in. My work environment is highly toxic. These guys kind of know. Some of these guys know is highly toxic, and it's like Game of Thrones in there. So it's kind of like I do Dan all day. You know, I act. So it's you know, whatever.
Ha!
Go and fuck with them, man.
Yeah, man, it's all good. Another day in
Fuck the
paradise.
dog.
You know what I mean? Although it is fucking raining here like crazy, which is also paradise right now for us. So, oh, did my nail just pop up? No. Okay, all right, guys. I'll be listening in and out.
Take it
Yeah,
easy.
but laters.
Great bars there, Ruckus.
Man, she's so hot. Her energy is just amazing. She is. I could never say that while she's a speaker. Hopefully she drops down. There she goes. Awesome. Yeah, she's hot, man. Twitter crushes. It's the energy, you know what I mean? Like, you hear someone's energy and you're like, gosh, that's a vibe. You know, that's a vibe.
I agree with you on that. Just gotta
Right?
get that vibe.
Yeah, our vibe is just chef kiss.
It's part of that surfer kind of thing going on too. You know what I mean? The perpetual surfer, and then it's like you can't go wrong with just the surf girl kind of thing.
Yeah, you think it's an LA thing?
I don't know if it's LA as much as I don't know. I mean, I don't. It's like the only thing I can judge her by is like, boy, what I see on Twitter, and all I see on Twitter is like the beach. So I always feel like she's on the beach.
Yes, the beach.
And I forget that she trims the weed. I kind of forget, like, is she selling NFTs? Is she doing mainline photography? She's kind of doing it all. So it's just like, she seems like a free spirit, you know?
Yeah. Sorry.
But I don't know. I mean, Hurls, what do you think? You think Anne's hot? That's our topic.
Talk about her while she's not here.
Yeah, she can always listen to this later to find out for proof. Plus, it's more of an adventure then. You know what I mean? It's like, you know.
She is listening.
No, she's not.
Well, she could be down in like web browser mode or whatever.
She said she was going to drop down to listener and just listen in. Yeah, I
Yeah, she's
like her.
not
I've had a couple of conversations with her.
Well, the word's out. You know?
Nice person.
Just
I
goes
bring
back
the
to that
ruckus to
fireman
the ladies.
catalog.
I missed both of that because you both talked over it.
Oh, we were.
That's when we talk at the same time.
You know, Mike, can you go ahead and tell Hurls a little bit about the? Because you always put me on the spot. Mike, can you go ahead and tell him about the fireman concept that you've been working on?
Yeah, so a lot of people like to touch themselves when they listen to the space, so we figured we may make a raunchy calendar. You know, the men can be firemen and maybe the women can be like sirens, that kind of thing, or mermaids.
Or maybe they should dress up. We do them in Mid-Journey art,
Mm-hmm.
and they're actually fire hydrants. So there's the firemen, and they're the fire hydrants. Because, you know, you got to plug together eventually.
I mean, Ruckus, maybe we can be like Transformers, where like Ruckus is clearly he's the hose, right? You know, culturally he's most appropriate to be the hose.
Yeah, I updated my image so that he could see my fireman side.
Ruckus kind of narrates the show after the show airs. Like, we're The Walking Dead, right? And then he would sort of do the show afterwards, which would be like, what the fuck's with the Syndicate? He's like, thanks everybody for coming back to What the Fuck's with the Syndicate. This is your host, again, Ruckus. The only one is the best one. Let's sit down and talk about today's episode, where apparently everybody was hitting on Anne as she walked out of the room because mostly she was a girl that was so close to marijuana and weed, more marijuana and weed than you'd ever see in your life. And who doesn't want to get to know a girl like that? Ruckus, you know what I'm saying? That's my show. Ruckus, thanks again for joining us with this son today. Can you tell us a little bit more about the Syndicate itself, how it came to pass, and how you eventually took the helm away from the Gaslight King? How did that go down exactly?
He's speechless.
I don't. Yeah. I don't know. I'm still thinking about Anne Marie trimming marijuana in a jumpsuit. So
Not just any jumpsuit, Ruckus. She was wearing a nylon blaster DXT90 all the way from Alcatraz.
Hazmat, yeah.
It was a hazmat suit, and she was wearing a tight sports bra with a Bluetooth headset, listening to the Golden Oldies while listening to a bunch of racial slurs on Twitter Spaces.
Now, there's a calendar. There is a calendar.
I think the whole weed smoking thing is cool. I don't smoke, but I do envy those who can smoke. So it's interesting. One day when I'm retired, maybe I'll. I didn't know you could grow your own. I didn't know you could grow 3 plants in your house.
Well, you can't.
Ohio can, right? I don't know.
It's not about whether it's
I don't
legal. It's
think
about
Ohio
whether
can.
you should be found with it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
You know, you can't throw up your way out of a church like some of us.
Yeah, I don't think Ohio can. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I just Yeah. The whole drug testing, once you get drug tested, and they start taking hair and shit. And that became like one of the things I learned while working is that people couldn't find couldn't pass a drug test. Like companies couldn't find people, and so that became like kind of a superpower. Like, oh, if I stayed away from weed, I can get an edge up and pass a drug test. So
And
when
then they found when they hired all of the sober engineers, they're like, this work sucks.
I know,
Let's bring back
right?
the high people back.
When our hiring managers like look at you like, you can pass a drug test, can't you?
Oh wow! Oh, you get that look. You remember that look from that video, like that?
Yeah.
I do that to Allie all the time. I give her that.
Like, you bet your ass I can pass a drug test. Boom, here it is. Piss. You want hair? What do you need? I got it.
It's interesting that you're probably in a position to pass a drug test better than most of the people in this room.
It became a superpower.
Well, we know Casey's got limited runway here on
Mm-hmm.
like how many times he can really use his throw up on demand thing, which I feel is kind of a oof. That's just something I just don't want to see him do. I'm afraid he'll use that tactic later on when he'll be like trying to talk me down on the price I want for the, like the ordinal. I'll be like, I don't know, I really wanted to sell it for
The
$10. And he'll be like, oof, man, excuse me, I don't want to. It's only worth about. Excuse me. Okay, so you're right, Dan. It's only worth. So, just to get.
Call Casey the Vominator. That's going to be his superhero name, villain name.
Teflon Don. Nothing sticks to him.
So, do you want to hear the laws in Ohio relating to growing marijuana?
Hold on, Hurl. Did you hear how Casey got out of jail?
I was actually listening in the how he was in pain and throwing up, the poor bastard.
Mm-hmm.
I was cracking myself up. Yeah, I heard that. It's a great story. That should be clipped
We
and
need to
posted.
reenact that. We need to commission a reenactment.
No, just yeah, I reckon just clip that story and post it with Casey's voice. I was in stitches. I was what was I doing planning some workout at work the other day, and I was poor bastard Casey. Yeah, and the fucking prick, still gave you a ticket. I was like, what a fucking wanker. Pardon my French, but yeah, fucking police, man.
I mean, given the fact that they were about to cuff me and stuff me in jail, I'll take a $70 inspection sticker ticket. I'm good with that.
Yeah, and it's only a misdemeanor in Hawaii, Ohio to grow marijuana. It's like $150 fine, doubles if you're growing it in the vicinity of a kid. So,
Also depends if you're black or not, right?
well, that too, yeah.
Yeah, that two-tier system.
There's a 30-day jail term, so
Mm-hmm.
yeah, they're probably getting the jail term instead of the misdemeanor. So in my state, apparently now you don't have to be a citizen to be a police officer. They're expat. You're getting police from overseas. As long as you're a police officer, you just go through a quick training program, and you can become a police officer in the state because
Can you imagine
they're
trying
kind
to
of
be a
smart enough.
police officer in Australia? That's fucking dangerous, dude. Right? Like with the Samoans and shit? Those people are strong.
I think it's going to start getting more dangerous. So there's going to be some shit going down in the next couple of years.
Rockets, are you familiar with the Mexicans of Australia, the Samoans?
I'm familiar with Samoans, but I didn't know they were from Australia.
The Mexicans of Australia.
He's so
Oh
slow.
my
So
God.
slow.
Mexicans of Australia. I'm still not.
Ruckus. They come from an island, and they came to Australia, just like the Mexicans came from Mexico to the U.S. Is
Oh,
that not hard to see?
that's
Come
good.
on. Okay.
That's all
Okay.
right.
I appreciate it. That was as nice as I could say it. So
This
Yeah.
is a whole cabinet. I think we could explain anything that happens between, like, as long as we ask the right person to explain it. I think we could have our own small government.
Man, I just had a
Yeah, we're
minion
like our
call.
own
That was a
little
good
AI.
call. Just one.
Who called?
Yeah, minion. You know, I have like a token Gen Z. I consider him one of my minions.
Yes, the token Z.
Yeah, yeah. He's a sharp looking kid. And he changes his hair every day. I swear, he dresses like he's on the set of Grease all the time. You know what I mean? He's a good kid. Anyways, and he calls me. He's like, "Hey man, what's going on? I'm going down for the startup weekend event. I'm gonna get there tonight. I'm gonna get on the team. You want me to do X?" I'm like, "Yeah, grab a lot of footage, grab this stuff, grab that, make your sure it looks cool." Okay, man. Later, skater. I was thinking, later, skater. That's amazing. Anyways, I just love having a minion check in, and nothing makes an orchestrator feel more warm and fuzzy inside than to have his own group of band of idiots like they had in Fight Club. That's what it is we run that house where people showed up and everything. That's really what the syndicate is. It's that, people wait out front, and Casey goes out there and looks at him and says, "You're too fat. Get the fuck off my porch," right? And then the guy comes back again, and Paul goes out there, says, "You're too skinny. Go chase down the chicken." And you're like, okay, whatever. And then the guy comes up again, and Manish comes out wearing a giant sombrero, smoking a big cigar, going, "Hello, I am Manish." He blows like a big plume of smoke in the guy's face, and just turns away. That's all I got for you. Ruckus is in the house too, but he doesn't, you know what I mean? He doesn't like buy into these games of like personification of character, because he's like sitting in the chair all the time going, "Man, I don't know why you're doing it. Why do you need it?" He takes a big hit. He says can't smoke, but he can smoke on Twitter Spaces. He can speak it. You know what I mean? So everyone take a hit. Whew, that was good. Oh wait, Ann's back. Quiet.
Ruckus, don't say that thing you were saying when Anne left.
I didn't say anything. I just kind of like when she left, I was like, whew. Oh,
There was
shit.
a
All right,
comment
Dan.
that.
All right, Dan. I'm back. What kind of shit have you been talking?
Wait, she's back up the speaker. I thought she was supposed to be muted.
Well, I
Now,
thought
we
I was
can't
going
talk
in.
about her now.
I thought I was going in, but apparently I wasn't. So whatever. Well,
Oh my
we are
God,
about
that
to
was
go
total
in, but
bait and
no,
switch.
I jumped in. I was like, oh, I'm just gonna listen. And I was like, wait a minute, there's some shit going on in here.
All right, Ruckus, fess up.
I'm just kidding. Yeah. Hi guys.
I think we just
Ruckus has a crush on your energy.
yeah, that's right. We decided that you were a pretty good homegirl. I think that's all we decided. We just figured you were pretty good.
All right, I'll take it. I'll take all of it. Thanks, Ruckus. See, Ruckus sees me. Sees the real me.
Oh, yes, he does.
He does.
It's not like that. Mike, don't. You're turning something pure into something.
Yeah, Mike, do not
Don't
soil this. No.
Don't mess up the vision.
Mike, if you're gonna go that direction, we gotta learn another musical piece riff. Are you ready?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, this is a good one here. It's like I did this. Wow, 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 wow. You know what I mean? It's kind of like a multiple kind of slow guitar kind of. Can you try that really quick? Go ahead.
Wah, 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 wow.
No, but that's kind of like I found my thrill, which is not really what we were trying to get at.
Oh,
We were
okay, it's a
trying to
bit
do more
Blueberry
of
Hill.
you know what I mean? We're trying to do more of like a shit. Now I'm confused between Haggerty Hill and. All right, I need to take
Ruckus, what's the best way to express how you feel about it?
Let's
What
get it
instrument would you prefer?
on.
I think Dan kind of nailed it. It's like kind of like a beach vibe, like like water. Just one of the things I love about Anne is when she talks about Maine. Like she talks about the place like it's the water thing. I love how she feels about water, and kind of like you want to
You're
talk
a
about.
real ally.
No, well, you've been to the beach and you just hear the water just kind of go on the shore, and it's just
People are wearing bikinis,
no,
short,
well,
shirt
not
off.
Yeah, and
not.
that's
It
not
doesn't have to
really
be
Anne
people.
too.
No.
She's more of a full suit, kind of like what is it? The
The
surfers.
surf cat suit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she's more in the full
Not wearing
surfers
mesh, I
outfit
hope.
and she's always got like the really cool thing the girl wears around her waist, not her waist, her
Not
wrist.
wearing mesh.
It's got
Yeah,
like the
not wearing
yeah,
mesh.
whatever, like the plastic and the metal and
Yeah,
everything.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. You see someone out there on the board, and they're like on the waves, and they're surfing. You're like, that's Anne. I'm on the beach watching. I'm like, and, there's no one else around. It's like, oh, that's Anne. That's
yeah. Ruckus is
you
more
know.
of sort of the old guy on the beach. He's got sort of the blue checkered Hawaiian shirt, all buttons down. He's got a big gold chain on with like the dollar symbol on it, whatever.
No gold chain. No gold chain. I do have the Hawaiian
He's
shirt
got the
on.
Hawaiian, and he's got
I
like
do
a
got the
glass of
Hawaiian.
Chardonnay. He just holds it up
No,
and he's
no, no,
like, "To you, baby,
no, no.
you."
Loafers with no socks.
Two glasses. And one is for him.
Yeah, he's like that, and I'm like the guy with the white bucket trying to like fish out there and like just not catching a damn thing, bitching about life. People walk
A metal
by and I'm
detector.
like talking about conspiracies whenever they get within range of me, but normally I'm not saying anything. It's only when they get within range of me do I go like, and that's why I don't talk to chickens. You want to fish? Morning. You know what I mean? I just make a scene, and then I film that. It's just like a live stream camera, and I make millions. That's pretty cool.
You,
Oh my
the comedian Bill Bailey said, oh, what did he say? I had it. Oh my God, my mind. A true nutter doesn't say anything at all. It just holds up a chicken. That's not the exact quote. Damn it. But it's something like that. You know what I mean? Or a true nutter. Yeah, a true nutter or will just hold up. Anyway, I will look it up and regurgitate
Well,
that the proper
growing
way
up, I'd always go
eventually.
to Ocean City, New Jersey, right around the end of August, and there was always those guys on the beach with the white, you know, bucket.
I loved my time in New
Mm-hmm.
Jersey. I would go there only in the summer on the way to
Yeah.
Maine because my best friend used to live there, and I used to go hang out at his house. And he lived in Brick, New Jersey, which is like right next to the
Ah,
shore.
nice.
And he was a bouncer on the boardwalk there.
Cool
Oh
job.
man, oh, you could just sit there all
Yeah.
day and just amuse yourself. Like it was lovely. It was like watching a real episode of Jersey, or what's that show?
Oh, Jersey
The
Shore.
Jersey
Yeah.
the Jersey
Yeah.
Shore. It's fucking brilliant.
Yeah.
I love going to places like that in America. That's what's so wonderful about America,
Yeah.
honestly, that there really are these places here that are just like you're like this doesn't exist. You know what I mean? Like this, there's no way there's people like this in real
Yeah.
life. No, there are. There really, really are, and there's lots of them.
Yeah.
Oh, I guess I'm going in. Damn it, it's raining. Why are we outside? Oh, sorry.
Yeah, I can just see that scene. Rackus is sort of strolling along the beach with his Hawaiian shirt. Anne's coming out from out the surf, the board's underarm. They bump into each other. They exchange pleasantries, having a bit of a conversation. Anne says, I gotta duck off, I gotta go. Ruckus finds himself with his legs half buried in the sand, and he's like, ah, what a woman. And his missus says to him, yeah, keep your pants on, buddy.
But it is a fantasy, right? So, she could have another option.
Yeah, totally. I think the timeline I would be going with is more of basically Anne comes off the beach, right? And I was just like, and what's funny is every time like Ruckus sees Anne, he's a photographer too. We don't know that. We find out in the very end. but it's the whole film was about how everybody has like their own shutter speed in terms of like how they see other people and stuff. So whenever he looks at Anne, it's like a different kind of shutter speed. So it's like kind of a cool thing, a little spiritually weird. And then at the same time, Michael shows up, but he is actually a he can basically freeze the scene, and he walks out on the sand in this white like lab coat kind of thing, and then he can talk to Ruckus and can't see him. Of course, time is frozen. It's kind of a weird X-Files kind of thing, but he's kind of the gaslighter, and he shows up in Ruckus's life as a tormentor of sorts, as Ruckus is trying to sort of fight his own sort of gaslight side, you know.
Oh wait, I've got a Ruckus. Have you got a minute? I've got an idea. I want you to read a bit of a script.
I do.
Written up.
I have to actually jump into a call for about 10 minutes, but I should be back after that. I apologize.
Yeah, I might still be here then.
Okay.
See how we go. I'll get the script ready.
Let's have a quick pop-up meeting, then I'll come back.
Working is good. I should get back to work.
I know, right? I'm listening. It's fun when I'm listening to you guys when someone says like they want to meet for 5 minutes to put a fire out. I'm like, fuck. I mean, shoot.
Whoa, spicy.
It's been a Friday. All right, I'll see you guys in a few minutes. Sorry about that, Hurls. I'll be right back.
Take it easy. He doesn't have an emergency. He needs to go to the bathroom.
Hey, it looks like Spatial announced a big update. It's coming for March 15th. And it's going to include a new visual scripting node language. I think that's in combination with Unity, folks. It's going to have a quest system, a point of interest system. It's going to be interactable. Open URLs can be used for hyperlinks. Camera state can be used for main camera position and rotation. A toast system nodes can be used to pop a message to a user. It's interesting. And custom avatars, custom animation, interactive objects, and more. It's kind of cool. Spatial's got a lot of cool shit coming out. I like the idea of the quest system. I might be able to leverage that. I'm trying to, like, if they're going to design that, that's
Need a better way to quote people. I'm getting a lot of requests to do gigs now, and it's like, okay, now that I'm managing multiple dates, I have to go back to a calendar. I hate calendars. I hate the notion of a calendar. You know what I mean? Like I have to do something at a certain time. That's no fun.
Have you heard of Timely? I'm not sure if it's still a
No?
thing. So I think it's like a SaaS solution type thing where you can refer your clientele to the calendar so they can see when you're free. So you can sort of set it up to say, I'm going to allow these time slots, and then that's it. And then the customer comes in and then can book and pay for time and schedule through Timely. So they select the times, but you sort of it stops that back and forth type shit happening, which I'm sure is what is actually annoying you about the calendar type setup. It's that back and forth, constantly trying to rearrange it.
He's a
Yeah, so like
stallion that wants to run free. He doesn't want to have to
you
go in the
understand.
corral.
It's you
Exactly.
get all these
Yeah.
emails, right? And they're about the
It's
same thing, but the dates are changing and this is
yeah.
changing. It's one of those good problems. Don't get me wrong. Like people interested in having me show up or appear is it's a good thing. I don't like the process that I'm going through right now to book things. It seems wasteful. And
Yeah,
like, you know?
it's a bit of a compromise. It's still shit, but it's just less back and forth. See if I can find it.
I wonder if I can add at the same time there's like a vendor of record structure, so there's an additional layer. I see a lot of people complaining. People were convinced that we could use technology as a panacea for human motivations. And I think it took them a couple years to realize that technology is not necessarily going to change human nature. And while we all understand that, I think it's surprising for some of the youngins. And so when human nature inevitably confounds or corrupts a movement, they're stuck in this position where it's like, well, maybe there's another technology that will prevent this from happening in the future. And I understand all of those things. But it's I'm not sure if they're gonna find Santa Claus. You're listening to the Syndicate. Decentralization is the adult Santa Claus. What did Santa Claus do for us when we were a child? It promised us benevolence, freedom through toys. What did we get? Hey everyone, how's it going? Sorry, I haven't done that in a while. Oh shit, it's 3 o'clock. I'm supposed to be in a Zoom,
That's
aren't
why I was just hopping in and be like, hey, buddy, I think it's
I?
time.
Hold on, let me just
I don't have the link,
copy
though.
this to another
Wait
thing.
a minute, Casey. You've just been you're just not a fun killer right now. What's that called?
Party pooper?
Don't take him away. Yeah.
Look,
Die
Oh,
hard.
good. Go make
it
history,
wasn't
you
me that set
guys.
the schedule, is all I'm saying.
No, go make history. I know what you guys are doing. Right? Yeah.
Mike, can you throw me the link if you have it?
Am I in the wrong meeting?
I don't even have a link at all.
What?
I don't even have a link. I got nowhere to go.
Oh, okay, hold on.
Oh, I wonder if it came in under other. No.
I'm messaging Matt. He's texting me now. Oh, where's that? Okay, so I copied it. 1 sec. Oop. Casey. All right. All right, guys, I'm gonna run an errand, talk to these folks. See you in a bit.